are pretty easygoing. You're actually probably more easygoing than I am.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Well, you're not easygoing at all.
Hey!
On 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
It is the Friday edition. The positives and the negatives edition to the Packers' 34-31 loss to the Detroit Lions at Ford Field edition. I've done this a long time, and I'm always amazed that there are things that happen where I can say, I've never seen that before. This thing that happened before the game, we'll get into the game, but wow. If you haven't seen this, I think you're going to find it interesting. Edition. Are the Packers right in being so confident that if they see the Lions again, they're going to beat them? Edition. And where in the world is Mark Tauscher? You're going to get a lot of me on video today. Edition. Of Wilde and Tausch. On 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker. Streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And, of course, everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And from an undisclosed location that really is undisclosed, at least to me, it is the Packers Hall of Famer. It's Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, we got a little hockey action today, so I'm bouncing around. So unfortunately...
Drop the puck.
And I forgot to charge my iPad. So... my bad for OT. Yeah, I screwed up. I had it. I thought it was sitting on a charger. I thought it was all good. And then as I've been bouncing around, I went to connect at 8:50 something this morning. And what are we doing here? So, Jesse, normally I love to blame you. This is all old me. Old T is the problem here. But I digress. Missed opportunities last night. I don't think... talking in the post game and hearing fans, there's a lot of frustration, but I think there is a lot of us that think it's not like there's some monster gulch between the Packers and the Lions. The Lions are better right now. They are. They don't make the mistakes. They figured things out, but as far as that game last night, that was a great game. That was a fun watch. It was everything that's really good. Take some officiating out of it. Everything that was really good about you had guys giving body blows and back and forth. It kind of the second half is how I thought the whole game should have been. And for all of us that are, complaining about the refs, and I am not one. I just at some point I put it out there because everybody was complaining, putting stuff up about the OPI. And listen, there were some calls that went against Green Bay, but there were also some calls that went against Detroit. The critical pass interference. Do we really think Detroit wasn't going to go out and score a touchdown at the end of the game? I think they would have. So there's all these other things. The bottom line is the offense needed to be great last night, and they weren't. They were good. The defense needed to put pressure on Jared Goff. They didn't. And the formula for how Detroit won last night was they protected Jared Goff, and he had a really good night. And the Packers stunk on offense in the first half. They stunk. That was not – they got out we had Balaga, Debach, City, and Vonnie on last night on our players only in the first half. And to a T, every one of us was like, yeah, they're getting whooped up front. And so all of the other stuff. The bottom line is we started too slow in a game you couldn't afford to do it. And that's why, even though you had more than enough opportunities in the second half to win, I look at it as two-pronged as far as why we didn't get it done last night. And it's we didn't get near enough or any pressure on Jared Goff, and we stunk on offense in the first half. That's the reason we didn't win that game last night.
Well, Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love agree with you because for a game that came down to the final play as Jake Bates kicks the 35-yarder to win it, they were both lamenting early on.
Yep.
And the punt, fumble that their 3 drives went to start the game. They also had that possession where they had to burn a timeout in the second half, which would have come in handy, and then they still didn't pick up the first down anyway, and they end up punting at the end of that drive. So those were the critical mistakes. You're juiced up today. I can feel it. You got a lot of energy.
I am.
Even though, unlike your iPad.
Yeah, got more juice. So there's a couple of things. And Jesse, last night at midnight, God bless you, Jesse, volleyball, doing post-game. Like
my God. The first game went 5 sets. I had so much airtime last night. Our pregame show is an hour and 15 minutes. We went through like the entire first quarter of the Packers game
I'm not
going to
lie to you, Jesse. I was trying to compliment you. I wasn't looking for a volleyball breakdown of Georgia Tech beating Fairfield or
Tennessee.
Whatever.
Big win for the Jackets.
We'll get to volleyball later when I'm off the show. You guys break that down all you want. But Jesse,
Are you
anyways,
leaving early?
Jesse, yeah, actually, I have to. Jesse, the question you posed, because Homer last night came right out of the gates after my opening statement and everything, and basically saying Dan Campbell's going to cost the Lions a championship. And you put out there, would you rather as a Packer? And it's a great question because I had somebody call in last night saying Matt LaFleur ain't going to get it done. He's not. He just doesn't go for it enough. He's not enough of a riverboat gambler. I thought Dan Campbell was an idiot for not kicking a field goal last night. And it turns out he was a genius, but it's not always going to be genius. And he went for it on 4th and 1. And by the way, if the tight end picks up the middle linebacker, that might have been a touchdown for Gibbs. So Detroit is a gambling team. And those 4th down conversions were the gut punches that knocked out the Packers' run defense last night was fantastic. I thought it was fantastic. For as good as they are, I thought they held up and did their end, but you robbed Paul to pay Peter because by doing that and going with, if you look, they did a lot of bear front. They had a lot of big guys in there to stop that. The pass rush wasn't there. And for a team that struggled with that anyways, we're going to have to, when we play them again, we have to do something different. I actually would say maybe give up a little bit more in the run game and see if Detroit is patient enough. Because letting Goff sit back there last night was not the formula to win. But do Packer fans love the way Dan Campbell coaches? Because I sense that they do until they don't, if that makes any sense.
All right, so I love your energy. There's so much to unpack from this game, and this is a rarity where we get to do it after a Thursday night game, and it's such a great game on top of it.
Oh, it was fun.
Because that's
Fun
not
game.
always not always the
Fun
case
game.
on Thursday nights. I want to.
Jesse,
I don't even know where to start with you.
win that 5th set? Is the
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Tennessee down 2 sets to 1. Match point. They almost win it. Crazy.
Wow.
That'd have been a stunner, no doubt about it. So
Gonna be tough after 5 to come back tonight and play back to back.
I wore out down there at the field house. Yeah.
All right, so I want to start here for now, and then we'll do positives and negatives, and we'll talk more about officiating, about Matt LaFleur. I had a great conversation with Chewy and Gabe this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy because kind of like Tausch is with all his pent-up energy this morning that he's letting loose now, I thought Matt LaFleur's engine was running really hot last night, including getting into it with that idiot fan who was trash-talking when he was on the field to help wave the giant American flag. I still can't believe this happened. And again, we'll get into that. But, Tausch, I want to get back to the 4th down decisions because I actually thought his decision which was gutsy, but the game was tied. And I would love to know if it's 33-31 and they're trying to set up for the game-winning field goal, if he goes for it on that fourth down and gives the ball to Montgomery to get them closer for the field goal and to drain the clock so there's nothing left for Jordan Love. I didn't have as big of a problem with that, actually, as I had with the play you referenced that if the tight end blocks Quay Walker, it might be a touchdown. But he didn't. And you're on your own 30-yard line. You are winning the game. Yep. You're in the lead. Like, if Homer is right, and I'm not saying he is, but that was the moment where I thought that's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of mistake that happens during the flow of the game, not in the final seconds that you lose games on. Because you hand the ball to the Packers at the 30, and they go in and score, and now they're back in the lead again. Now, I understand the Lions came back and took the lead again and everything. I get that. But that, I thought, was reckless. And I said it. I was by myself because everybody was in bed. But I said it when he did it. I couldn't believe that he did it there. I wasn't as blown away by what he did in the end because I actually thought it was smart to not leave any time on the clock for Jordan Love, given the way their defense was playing and given the way the Packers' offense was humming. So when you look at the fourth down calls, what is your bottom line on those two?
So here's the deal. The Lions, this is you're talking about a guy that came in talking about biting kneecaps and changing a culture. He has done that, and he's done it by doing it this way. He trusts his players, he holds them accountable, and he holds himself accountable. He wants to go down swinging. And for all of us that think it was reckless, I thought not kicking the field goal was reckless, but he felt like his defense wasn't going to stop Jordan Love, and he also felt like the only way to win this was to get it. And it wasn't about getting the ball 5 yards closer for his kicker. It's, I think, Acho, who's analyzing football, telling us we need to watch him to learn football. He's trying to say it was to get the field goal. No, it was to run the clock out.
Right, exactly.
No problem. That was just so not everybody's an expert. Let's put it that way. Anyways, he goes, and if you get stopped there, you're going to probably lose the game in regulation. But he builds this team and says, we're not going to play scared. And yes, we might cost ourselves a game or two by doing it, but we're going to win more and build this team and this thing this way that we are always attacking. We are going to take you out to the depths of the sea, and we're going to see how long you can go because we're going to go a little bit longer. That's what they've done. And it's hard for me as a player to say, well, that's reckless. As a fan and an observer, you don't kick that field goal, and you get Zane Williams comes in again and does the same thing, submarines and makes a play. Everybody today is like, you're an idiot. Why would you not kick the field goal? Go ahead and force Jordan Love to go 45, 50 yards, set up a long kick to tie the game. Because Dan Campbell didn't think his defense could hold up. He knew.
No, he didn't.
He knew they ran out of gas. He respects Jordan Love in this offense. And by the way, he believes in his offense. He believes in how he built this team, and that's why he did it. And Homer's point is that's cute in the regular season because it's not that big a deal. We saw it in San Francisco last year. He did something very similar.
Right. I was just going to say that.
And it bit him. But that's the way. But you notice that team didn't give in, and they weren't questioning it. They moved on because that's the core group. Now, as they get older and that window tightens, it's going to be tougher and tougher. And I think Dan Campbell, if he's playing the Bears, I think he kicks that field goal. It's all about his feel and how he thinks the game needs to be won. And they trust each other. So for as reckless as I think it is, I understand why he did it. And by the way, it worked, and he should be applauded for it. But I hope we get another crack at him. I hope he is that go after it. And I think Matt LaFleur probably needs to look at 4th and 1s and 4th and 2s against this team, especially if he's banged up on defense too, and maybe start thinking we need to maybe amp our aggressiveness up a little bit and not play it passive. And I think that's what some Packer fans feel like last night was about.
All right, let's get to our positives and negatives next so we can get to calls. I feel like it's going to be a very heavy call day. And look, it's open-ended. We love it when you give positives, negatives, but whether you're sitting there thinking, boy, I wish Dan Campbell was the Packers coach, I want to hear that.
Jason, how many people do you think feel that way?
I don't know other than what I see in the polling data, which Jesse posted that poll. and it's not close to a majority. Would you rather play football? I mean, basically, the question is, would you rather have Dan Campbell as the Packers coach or Matt LaFleur? 65% say Matt LaFleur.
Yes.
So I don't think
By
that
the way,
it's
put me in
a
that
runaway.
club, and I respect the heck out of Dan Campbell in Detroit, what they're doing. Totally.
Yeah. I agree with both those statements. Just like I agree when you say how great Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin are.
Well, ensure your home remains comfortable before we reach that brutal post-holiday winter. Yes, Santa Claus, that big jolly fella. St. Nick came to the house last night, but his elves didn't because they ain't qualified to build Pella Windows and Doors. Just too many options, too many customizations. We aren't at AI yet. You need Pella. So instead of going through that big red fella, take advantage of this Pella deal. Get as low as $19 per window, $81 per patio door per month. Certain restrictions do apply. This offer ends on New Year's Eve. Visit PellaWI.com to learn more.
We'll get to our positives, our negatives, and then your calls. Get in line now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
It is Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison. Your chance right now to win free food from Pizza Hut. Jesse Nelson here. It's Free Food Friday on ESPN Madison, brought to you by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. And try their new big boneless wing bundle for only $15.99. Enjoy 16 crispy boneless wings in 2 different flavors, 2 dipping sauces, and a double order of fries. Head to pizzahut.com or the select Pizza Hut locations to enjoy your own Free Food Friday. Caller number 3 right now, 844-770-3776. Caller number 3. You win Free Food Friday, courtesy of Pizza Hut.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
There's always pressure. You got to find ways to deal with that pressure and handle it as best you can to be the best.
This is your green and gold fix on 100.5 ESPN.
Obviously, there's going to be things that turn up along the way. You got to be able to adjust.
This green and gold fix is driven by Metro Ford.
3 more touchdowns from Packers stud Josh Jacobs. Not enough in Detroit as they fall 34-31 on a walk-off field goal to the Lions on Thursday night. Jordan Love going 12 of 20 in the game, but he's still confident, especially in his offense moving forward.
Turned it around and started hitting on some of those explosive plays, but I think we're right there with them as an explosive offense, so we're not worried about
the
that.
9-4 Packers wake up on Friday morning in the 6th seed, and it looks like right now they'd be going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, who, by the way, are their next opponent next Sunday night.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
The little one just took her first steps. Her stride? Wobbly.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Her parents? Oh boy, here we go.
Watch out.
But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. So while you're monitoring and protecting her every move, you can do the same for your credit score too. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Ho, my back.
Santa?
Ho, Gina Della from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Santa's doing OT.
Let me make a call.
Frighteningly fast Pella team at your service. Let us take it from here, Mr. Claus. And Gina, next time.
I know. Ask for a Pella gift card. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month.
PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 12/31/2024.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin.
Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Strofe. The holidays are here, and there is no better way to celebrate than with the delicious brandy or whiskey from Door County Distillery. It's the holidays. People are coming over. You're mixing up old fashions. No better way to do it than with the cherry brandy from Door County Distillery, made with local Door County cherries, or the 27-time gold medal award-winning single malt whiskey. No matter if you want your brandy old-fashioned or your whiskey old-fashioned, everybody's pleased with Door County Distillery. DoorCountyDistillery.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Give him hell, tender hands, gonna live life till we're dead. Give me scars, give me pain, then the say me.
So, I'm looking at a meme. You know, I love a good meme, old T.
You do.
It's of Dan Campbell on The Price is Right. And he's photoshopped in. And he just got 95 cents on the big wheel. And it's him saying, Drew, I'm going to spin. It's just really funny.
I would say that's probably a bit unfair. It was more like 75 cents. Somebody put it out there about it's kind of like you hit 17 and he caught a 4 on blackjack. But I also saw the one where he's got the, his, I'm not even going to go down there, the big wheelbarrow. And I'm sure you've seen that with some cojones. Bah! He deserves credit because it worked, but I am of the belief that was incredibly idiotic last night, what he did, but it worked. And you're judged on not only your processes, but as a coach, you're judged on the feel and understanding what it takes to win the game. And he found a way to do it last night.
All right, so we can get to as many calls as possible, Tausch. What's your, if it's not just a positive or negative, if it's more your takeaways, but you had a lot on your mind as you came in hot.
Yeah,
kind of like Matt LaFleur did into the game. What were the biggest things, positive, negative, indifferent, that really are top of mind for you?
So for me, positives, I thought our run defense was really good. That is a really good running football team, and they don't get a bunch of candy yards with their quarterback scrambling out. I know he had one run last night. That isn't Baltimore and Philly where the run game, the quarterback gets a bunch of. This is two backs, pound the football. They're good. And I thought Green Bay held up really well in that regard. I thought Jordan Love played his second half. That move, and I tweeted I didn't get the link. I didn't put the picture.
The jump cut throw.
That throw. I mean, I can't tell you how good that is. Like, that's quarterback. Tom Clements should put that. That is job one of what he has done. Jacobs misses the blitz pickup. The guy had him dead to rights. He sidesteps, keeps his eyes down the field, uses his footwork, gets in position and throws a dot in a crunch time situation. Jordan Love, I think he is back. He's moving. I couldn't be more excited about that part of it. But on the negative front, the negative side, our pass rush, it's just got to be better. And I think at this point it is what it is. Jeff Hafley's going to have to figure some things out. This isn't going to do it. You can't let him.
Does he have to, Tausch? Does he have to go? Look, we saw the stat yesterday that since Aiden Hutchinson's injury, the Lions had blitzed at a 40% clip, the highest in the league. Does Jeff Hafley have to say the same thing? Our guys aren't good enough. It's not because we lost our stud. It's because we're just not good enough. I need to be more aggressive. Does he have to do that?
He's got to mix it up and be. It can't be. It just there wasn't enough. Walking up linebacker, there just wasn't enough stress put on Jared Goff. I don't care how you go about doing it. There were times where Keyshawn Nixon came off the edge. You have to come up with those simulated pressures. And the problem is Detroit is taking advantage of their run and the fact that Green Bay brought in big bodies and put it in a position because they had to stop the run. I think you have to say, you know what, we're willing to give up some rush yards. We can't let Jared Goff get that comfortable, because even though he threw the pick in a great kind of design and disguised coverage that Keyshawn made a great play on, you can't let him sit there. He got into way too good of a rhythm, and it was pretty much, you knew what was coming. Our defense didn't have any answers for it. But my biggest negative was the O-line play in that first half. It just it was inexcusable, and I know it's loud. I know it's a hostile environment. Zach Tom struggled. It was just not a good first half of football. And in a game that you knew you needed to score a lot of points, we can blame refs. We can blame a bunch of other stuff. The bottom line is you can't have that many empty possessions in a game where your offense needs to be the dogs. And they weren't. And that's a big reason why we didn't get it done last night.
All right, I'm gonna forfeit my positives and negatives so we can get some more calls, but I need to ask you about this right from the jump. And I don't know. I know you guys did a great job on the players only. One of my favorite former Packers, Vivani Holiday, joining you, which was great. So it wasn't just all you offensive line knuckleheads. But did you see this incident before the game?
No. I got started right as kick, so I missed that.
All right, so I retweeted it. You can find it when we get to a commercial break. Jesse, you've seen this?
I have, yes. It was weird.
So I thought all week long, and again, how he treats us is not important, okay? It's not about my feelings or if he's grumpy or whatever. I'm not saying it for that reason. But what I am saying is he felt a little Tausch puckery to me all week, right?
Yeah.
Big game.
Yeah.
And then he wants to take the shot play on the opening play. Jordan gets sacked for a 7-yard loss by Zadarius Smith. And again, I'm not saying he didn't have legitimate arguments, but he's getting after the officials about the OPI juxtaposition of not calling it on the Lions, calling it on Watson. He's throwing a really bad challenge flag.
Yeah, it was dumb again.
Which I didn't
understand.
understand.
Someone to get in his. He needs somebody there that helps him with these challenges, because he's just not good at it. It's not his strength.
But the NFL Network had this before the game. They're on the field, and there's a fan who is out there, a Lions fan in a Brian Branch jersey, who is out there to hold the flag for the national anthem, and he starts trash-talking the Packers sideline, and Matt LaFleur walks right up to him and says, "Get the F out of here." And Josh Jacobs is there. You're kind of a jerk when Bo Melton, one of the nicest people on the planet, is involved in telling you to get the hell out of here.
Oh, that's why he finished in front of my
that's
guy.
why he beat Jesse's guy. Of course, Jesse has to complain. Yeah, there's no place for that. But in the same respect, I get it. Emotions are hot. For everybody that's always thinks that we should all be choir boys, it is an emotional game, and fans shouldn't get to you. But when they're on the field holding the flag and I want a little piss and vinegar. I do.
So I agree with you, but my question is, do you think Matt LaFleur, because if we're gonna say, oh, Dan Campbell, biting kneecaps, going on 4th down, we love that. Like, what he did was kind of Dan Campbell-y,
well,
right?
You have to be who you are. And Matt LaFleur is a highly emotional cat. You see it. I mean, there were times that you'd be sitting there watching a sideline interview at halftime, and you'd think, man, he's almost getting choked up. Like, that's part of who he is, and I want him to be authentically who he is, because that's the only way you can coach in this league. So if that's what he – obviously it's a big game, and I think we saw that early in his career. I thought he was too chummy and buddy, and then we saw him kind of be a stone-faced killer out there in San Fran during the regular season. I think the big thing is be consistent. I don't want you, because players feed off of their coach's energy. And if a coach is calm and confident, players are going to probably be calm and confident. Now, everybody understands there's different levels to big games and everything else. I think if you let things go too far, players will feel that stress too. So I would say not. The good thing is Green Bay plays Detroit, let's say in the divisional round or in the championship, which would be awesome. Hey, everybody signs up for that right now. I think you're going to be playing. It's going to have that house money vibe. They've beat us twice. You're going to feel that, but nobody in that locker room believes that. I promise you, and you remember this, Jason, Atlanta Falcons, the year we went down there and beat them in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that locker room feels the same way. It's like, yeah, they beat us, but everything went their way. We're ready to go get them. I guarantee you that this team is chomping to get another look at this team. Promise you. And whether or not how it's going to shake out, Detroit's really good. And they deserve everything that they've earned everything that they've gotten. I have no problem with that. But this team, I hope Matt LaFleur goes into it with the idea of, all right, yeah, they got us, but man, we're sometimes, how does that old saying go? The rabbit got the gun got the rabbit, however that is. That's how I think the Packers are feeling about the Detroit Lions this morning.
All right, we'll get to your positives and negatives. My point is not, yes, I've never seen anything like that before. My point is, it felt like LaFleur, I just wondered if maybe, like I said, his engine was revving a little hot. And there were some things that, because look, the game comes down to their lack of execution, their lack of effectiveness, whatever you want to call it, on those opening 3 drives, right?
Yep.
The game ends on a game-winning field goal, but the table was set, and both Love and LaFleur said it, by empty drives on their first 3 possessions. You get into a shootout, you can't have 3 empty possessions to start the game. You just can't, and that's what they both said. So that's not something that is revolutionary that I'm making that point. What would be revolutionary is if you took the time right now to sign up for a Fortrea
a little cash
clinical trial, get the money, then you could go back to Detroit for that NFC
Championship. Get that Detroit
game.
Pizza and go win a playoff game up in Detroit. Who's ready for that? If you need a little cash, head to FortreaClinicalTrials.com. Healthy adults ages 18 to 60, BMI 18 to 32. Study 2 stays, 15 nights, 7 follow-ups, $13,820 for your time and participation. Again, head over to FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortrea, Fortrea, ClinicalTrials.com.
Your positives and negatives next, 844-770-3776. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's makes the good stuff for good times. Find recipes, videos, and more at Tito'sVodka.com.
Mark Tausch here reminding you that every Friday on Wilde and Tausch is a Feel-Good Friday painted by Home and Lindsay Paint. So you'll be feeling good if you do what my family did when we moved into our new home, and that's trusting the pro painters from Home and Lindsay for your biggest project. Home and Lindsay's pros were incredible. They did the job so much better than we could, and they made the whole process super easy. All you have to do to get connected, stop into any of Home and Lindsay's Madison area locations, ask, and they'll help get you set up with the pro painters that are perfect for what you need. And remember, Wisconsin's best painters use Wisconsin's best paint. And Wisconsin's best painters are the pro painters at Home and Lindsay Paints. I hope you enjoy every Feel-Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Home and Lindsay Paints.
Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or visit MetroKiaofMadison.com.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at Goodman'sJewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Dog, I can't remember a game that was this good.
Yeah, you know what else would be great right now? Some food from the Great Dane.
I know, but we can't go right now.
Good news! The Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company is available on DoorDash and Uber Eats. Stay in the game with the full menu delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Order today with DoorDash and Uber Eats or on thegreatdanepub.com. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's original brew pub since 1994. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
This season, Chevy brings classic pairings, cookies and milk, mistletoe and kisses, and your holiday plans and a new Chevy. Silverado 1500 gives you power and capability with 430 pound-feet of torque to haul your holiday tree. Equinox EV and the all-new Equinox offer award-winning quality and style to see you through the holiday season. See why Chevy makes everything better and brighter. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Prairie Athletic Club is the ultimate destination for health, wellness, and crushing your goals. This is Sarah Tauscher. Say goodbye to post-workout aches and pains at the Pack's new Recovery Zone. With their assisted stretch and pneumatic boot sessions, you can get instant results, leaving you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your next workout. Don't believe it works? Give it a try. Stop in, stretch your body, and relax your mind at the Pack. Visit prairieathletic.com to learn more. Prairie Athletic Club, family, fun, community.
Hey, it's Hunter Vaughn. ESPN Madison and Zimbrick Honda are celebrating the area's best high school sports stories with the Game Changers of the Month. Follow ESPN Madison on social media to see teams making an impact in their community. Nominate your local team today at ESPNMadisonGameChangers.com.
Saturday, the Big 12 championship game heads to AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, as Iowa State and Arizona State go head-to-head with a trip to the college football playoff on the line.
Now, the stakes get much higher.
Saturday on 100.5 ESPN.
I'm not afraid of getting older. I want less day from dying young. I see the light go past my shoulder. I want less day from dying young. And I'm not afraid of getting older. I want less day from dying young.
Before we get to your calls, want to remind you, I know Paula's on her way there this morning because it's one of many stops she's got on her to-do list, and that's Fleet Farm. Now, I don't think she's going to take advantage of Milwaukee Deal Days, but you can. They're going on right now at Fleet Farm. Shop in-store to score huge savings on toolkits, combos, accessories, and more from a brand you know you can count on. Deals end December 11th, so be sure to hurry in for those exclusive Milwaukee savings at Fleet Farm. And she's not going to take advantage of this either. We're low on bubblers, though. She's going to get those. Ice fishing season is upon us, and Fleet Farm is your place to find all the best gear from all the best brands. Shop their huge selection of augers for sale, augers for sale.
Stop stealing my bits.
Along with tip-ups and thousands of lures that you won't find anywhere else. You're stealing that from the guy from the children's book Caps for Sale. Come on,
dude. If you think that I read the children's book Caps for Sale in the last 5 years, you're nuts.
Check out all the best ice fishing gear.
Can you say nuts on air, Jesse, or not? I just gotta make sure I know what we can all say. So I can't say. I can't say I have to say the big game, and I can say
no.
This whole thing is so dumb. Just for the record,
does it piss you off?
I don't swear. It's just I don't do that on air, and it's just you can't say that. What are you talking about? I can't say that. You say that word all the time.
You can't. You can say
it as a verb.
You know what? Let's just move on. I'm irritated.
All right, let's get to your calls.
I can think of a word with a P that you are. Yeah.
No, you can't. I mean, unbelievable. Who's to say what's a noun and what's a verb in this new era, anyways?
I mean, it's pretty clearly defined.
Merriam-Webster.
Is it?
No, Webster.
No, Webster's full of blank.
Let's get your calls. Packers lose 34-31 to the Lions. I have drawn the comparison, as Tausch did earlier, to that Atlanta storyline in 2010. I was in that locker room. I was not in the locker room last night, but some of the quotes coming out of there that Domofsky and Huber sent me, they sound a lot like that 2010 team after they lost.
Before we get to calls, quick one-word answer. Can this Green Bay Packers team win a Super Bowl this year, knowing the path they're going to have to go down? Yes or no?
Nope.
Jesse? Hello?
Jesse's not listening.
Oh, sorry. I was answering phones. We're asking for calls. Get on video and you'll know
Potatoes
that.
for sale. Oh my gosh! All right, go ahead.
In my opinion, and I've been saying it from the beginning of the season, I think they're still a year away. Now, they could arrive early. Other teams have done that. Maybe they'll do that. But I think
I'm going to say this.
You said
Here's
one
what I'll
word.
say.
I said no, and then we went to Jesse, who wasn't listening.
Yeah, Jesse gave his best answer of the year. I'll say this: if we can avoid both Philly and Detroit, yes. If we have to play both, we're not getting there. That's what's going to happen.
Great. If we can play the Saints.
Can we play Tampa, Atlanta, and the Rams and win a Super Bowl?
I want to play San Fran. I'd rather do that. I don't want any part of Tampa.
Okay, if we can play the Bears and the Saints in the playoffs, we're in great shape.
Well, the Giants.
That's this. Hey, by the way, that's this whole. Well, if you got to play it, you never want to play a team 3 times. I'm like, no. If the team stinks, I'll play them 17 times. I don't mind. So that whole motto. If the team's Green Bay, Detroit will not have a problem playing Green Bay, but I'm telling you right now, Green Bay is, I think, jacked up to get another crack at these boys, for sure.
And Dallas.
I'm telling you,
I'm
really
glad Jesse joined the show. Thanks for joining us, Jesse.
really run the Giants out of the gym in a playoff game. All right, so let's get to your calls.
844 stink, I hear.
3776. Let's start with Mike in Texas. Mike, thanks for holding on. Good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch.
Good morning. All right. So first off, the positive is the way they rebounded. Love the offense. I mean, I thought this game was going to be a disaster. With the challenge, with the protection, it felt like that one game where Rodgers didn't even get a chance to get the ball out. So that was good. The negative, and I'm just going to throw some stats that I saw in terms of pressure. So they pressured the Goff 20.9% of his 41 dropbacks, and so he sacks 2.4%. And so by comparison, the NFL's lowest was the Panthers at 24.9%. So I don't understand what that happened. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they're planning to pressure him, but their offensive line is better than we thought. I don't know.
No, their offensive line's good. We knew their offensive line was good.
Look, I just don't think Jeff Hafley believes in sending 5 or more after the quarterback. He just does. That's philosophically, he doesn't believe in that. And if that's what you believe, I get it. My point, and thanks for the call and for bringing this up, Mike, because it's interesting. Tausch, my question is, at some point, you have to acknowledge that what you're doing is not working. Now, complicating matters here is that you don't have Jair.
No Jair. No.
Then
Cooper.
you lose Evan Williams. Then you lose Javon Bullard. So how eager are you to blitz when you got that cast of characters in the back end? Doesn't that affect? Doesn't one affect the other?
100% it does. And I think Evan Williams going out with the concussion really hurt. No Jair, and I just don't know how much you can trust that you're ever going to have Jair.
Right.
So here's the thing, and again, this is where perception and reality are two different things. Hire Jeff Hafley. Oh, what did he do at BC? Oh, he was aggressive, man-to-man, all this other stuff. He must, with the talent that he has, looks at it, we got to play zone. Because they play a ton of zone, and there's holes in the middle of the defense because Detroit does a good job with its play action, everything else. So at this point, this is what our defense is. Now, if you get Cooper back and you get Jair back and you feel like you can maybe play a little more press man, maybe that'll be different. But I don't think this is kind of where we're at. And we're just, against good offensive lines, we're not getting enough pressure. That's abundantly clear. And at some point, we have to figure out different ways to make more of an impact with this pass rush, because what we saw last night ain't going to get it done, guys. It's just not.
Let's keep going with the calls because I know we're going to have a lot of them all show long. 844-770-3776. I would ask that we can be at least a little concise just so we can get as many people in as we can.
Well, that's rich. Jeez. That's like telling me not to do analogies. No analogies today, boys.
Don't interrupt. No Tausch interruptions.
Jason Wilde telling people to be concise. What world are we living in? All right.
You're pissing me off.
Can't say that.
No, he can. It's okay.
Oh, I guess you can. I can't. All right, fair enough.
Let's go to Eric in Green Bay. Eric, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Morning, doing good. How are you?
I am regretting the fact that I missed the opportunity. I see this from Zachary Jacobson, and we'll get to your call, but I'm going to be verbose again just to prove Tausch's point. Did you see what Kirby Joseph tried to do to Tucker Kraft? Did you see?
Take his knees out?
Taking out the knees?
Yeah.
Oh, and
I
that
saw
bounce up was,
And the bounce up was sick. That was impressive.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
It's called kipping, which I
It is called
unfortunately
kipping.
can't do, which is too bad.
Need a really strong core. I got some gymnasts in the house that can do it. All right. We'll get to Kirby Joseph because that is – he already, as Zachary Jacobson points out on Twitter, he also did this to T.J. Hawkinson and Tyler Higbee, two other tight ends who suffered knee injuries because of him.
And in fairness, and listen, it is dirty. It's what the league is telling these guys to do. It is.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Fair.
you can say what you want. It's you go up at the head, you're getting suspended, and you miss games. You go at the knees, you blow guys' knees out. You don't want to do it, but that's kind of what the league is telling you to do. I hate it, but it is what it is.
Eric, what do you got for us, buddy?
All right, Jason. Well, I can follow directions, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Positives, red zone offense. Negatives, red zone defense.
So how much of it, Eric, though, how much do you acknowledge, though, because here's my issue with this, and you can call me a Jeff Hafley stan if you want, but these guys are really freaking good, right? Like,
they take 4 downs to do it.
Yeah, I guess my struggle is that, look, the defense came up with 2 colossal plays, right? It's not a stupid decision by Campbell to go for it unless they figure out a way to stop it and force them to give the ball over at the 30-yard line, which they did. And Keyshawn Nixon's interception was a damn impressive interception. Yeah. I mean, that was that was a really, really good play by him. So my question is, Eric, what's your expectation for the defense when they're playing an offense of this level?
I mean, you're right. It's incredibly hard. I think the stat I saw was they scored 4 fourth down touchdowns against us in 2 games. And when you're 4 or 5 on fourth down, obviously, like, if you're going to get it 4 or 5 times, you're going to go for it. And they're a really, really hard offense to stop there. I think that's probably the difference in the game. And it kind of lifting red zone offense as a positive, getting 4 touchdowns in 5 drives. And the fact that we were able to put up 4 7s and then the field goal, that's the reason why we even came back and were in this game and made it so competitive. I think other teams are going to start looking at that more. They're incredibly hard to stop when you give them 4 plays. And when you have the guts to say, okay, and also the play calling with Johnson too, that we're going to get this. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I don't, obviously the defense wasn't good enough. We all agree on that, but man, that is a ridiculous offense. And by the way, thanks for the call, Eric. Tausch, let me ask you this quickly before we move to more calls. Is it Dan Campbell? And again, I don't want to take anything away from him because I was a doubter and I was wrong about him. But I am curious, when Ben Johnson is the coach of the Chicago Bears, does that make this offense and Dan Campbell a little less wow if he doesn't have a guy who is, as it would appear anyway, as elite as Ben Johnson is as a play caller and as an offensive coordinator?
Ben Johnson is what makes that offense go. And it's one thing to go and do these 4th downs and, do all this aggressive stuff. But it works because Ben Johnson understands he calls a really good game. He understands what's going on, and he has a really good offensive line to be able to execute it. That's really what this comes down to. So it's a team effort by all those guys. Dan Campbell believes in him, but when he leaves, it's definitely going to be different. And are you going to be as aggressive if you don't have the same faith in a play caller that Dan Campbell believes 100% what Ben Johnson's doing? Is that going to be the case moving? I don't know, but that's why this is successful. And it puts a ton of pressure on a defense because you're always looking at it, get 3 and out, get off the field. Well, that's not how the Detroit Lions play. And to their credit, again, he knew field goals weren't going to win this game. He went for it. He was aggressive on 4th down from the 3, from the 5, and it worked. Is it always going to? No. But that's their brand of ball, and it worked last night.
Speaking of brands, you accused me of stealing your shtick, so tell us a little bit about what Quick Trip has going on right now, and if the potatoes are still for sale.
Potatoes are always for sale, well, at least for another couple weeks. Potatoes for sale. You guys know I love Quick Trip. I go there, I get the chicken. Luckily or unluckily, maybe it depends on how you look at it. I was going to be eating rotisserie chicken today, but they did score a bunch of points. You got rotisserie chickens, $5.99 on Mondays, breaded succulent tenders on Wednesdays, and of course they got the Quickery white bread. You have all the other stuff. The Don's Pizza's 4 for $10. Everything you're looking for, and they got this fun little deal during Christmas, getting all these extra specials. Head over, use your Quick Rewards app. You can get it brought out to you curbside, whatever your heart desires. Quick Trip's got everything you need, and it's at a great price. QuickTrip.com.
We'll see you next time. More of your calls and texts, 844-770-3776. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Staying true to the roots, Lamar Campbell joining the jump around with Jim Rutledge, the former Badger touching on recruiting the next wave of Badgers. Soup's thoughts on how to do that while upholding Wisconsin's values.
We can be progressive, we can recruit, we can do things differently, but a tradition of tough, smart, dependable, great defense, great offensive linemen, running back, serviceable quarterback. We've been able to find stars at the skill positions by focusing on, basically who we are. And I know we kick off, August 30th, 2025, but in my mind, a lot of the alumni mind, kickoff starts now.
If you're not getting windows from Santa, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month. PellaWI.com.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and you know I'm watching every snap this football season with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in hand. With over 5 million people playing and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in. Make a play with just $1 or go big. Play their pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You make picks for a pick'em entry and choose if players will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 250 passing yards, or even Travis Kelce under 1.5 touchdowns. You can even win when you lose with Underdog's double flex option. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN, and join me and millions of others and win big. Must be 18 plus in present state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Unwrap exceptional offers during the Season of Audi sales event. Get financing as low as 1.9% APR on select new 2024 Audi models. Save $7,500 on select Audi EVs with the AFS EV lease bonus and an additional $1,500 with the Season of Audi customer credit. Offer subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services. See dealer for details. Offer ends January 2nd. You'll find an excellent selection of new and certified pre-owned Audis at Audi Madison. Check out AudiMadison.com or stop in and test drive at Audi Madison today. Off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
So, is this a sign of our, dare I say, popularity? There's a bunch of Lions trolls in the Dwellers division.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
There's Lions fans who
Typical.
have shown up and they're assembling on the border and then they're coming across.
Are we now at the point where we hate the Lions the most of everybody?
No.
I'm asking.
Jesse, I can't answer. I'm not a fan.
No,
you replied very quickly though.
I think back to when my buddies and I made that January drive out there in 2022, the end of the 2021 season.
Part of the COVID era.
The end of the 21 season when it was Dan Campbell's first year. They had 4 wins. And I made friends with Kyle in the 8th row or wherever we were sitting.
Brust and Nortman.
And I was just giving Kyle a bunch of griefs, telling him that I think Barry Sanders is overrated. I think Calvin Johnson could have extended his career further. I was just, we were having fun, but I was legitimately asking him what it's like to be a Lions fan. He said it's just miserable, man. It's the worst. This team never is any good, and so they are living it up right now for the first time ever, and good for them for living it up. I don't feel. I think they get to celebrate as much as they want. They get to live up the moment. I mean, as long as they keep it clean, go for it.
Confronting
Jesse,
the head coach on the field.
Who is the Packers as of what is today? I don't have my calendar in front of me.
December 6th.
December 6th. Which of these teams is our biggest rival? And it's a little pommy, no doubt, but the Detroit Lions win this poll in a runaway, even though they have for 40 years, my whole life, they've been a distant third the entire time. They started climbing last year, and now they're at the top of the list because they're a good football team. That's what the rivalry comes down to, even more than geography and family. It's, are they in our way? And right now they are.
Minnesota's 10-2.
Don't matter.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Detroit wins this thing in a rout. I'm telling you.
Eager to see what happens on the field on December 29th at U.S. Bank Stadium. One more thing before we get to our next calls. Can we all just agree? Despite the officiating, if you want to get riled up about that, I get it. Despite whatever you think of how dirty the Lions may or may not be, the play where Amon-Ra St. Brown knocks Xavier McKinney's helmet off and there's not a illegal hands to the face penalty is beyond me. But can we all agree that the Lions are just right now a better team? Is it as simple as that? Doesn't mean that they'll be the better team if they meet in the playoffs and that given Sunday or Saturday. But can we agree they're just better? Not a lot better, but certainly better. Yes?
Yes, they're better.
Okay.
As we sit here today, they're better.
All right. Want to make sure we're all on the same page. Let's get to a couple more calls, and then we'll do it all throughout the 10 and 11 o'clock hours as well.
Just for the record, though, I'm taking Jordan Love 100 out of 100 times over Jared Goff. I don't know if I can make that point clear.
Yeah, I think you have, and I think you're right. All right, let's go across the border to Michigan, not to Canada. Let's go to Michigan and talk to Johnny in Michigan. Now, wait, Johnny, are you a Packers fan calling from Michigan, or are now we have trolls calling from Michigan? State your business.
Okay, listen, I am a diehard Packers fan.
Okay.
Have been my whole life, and I want that to be very clear. I want you to remember that when I say what I'm about to say. I'm not a plant. I am not a troll.
It's a Wilde-esque caveat. I love
Yes. Hedging.
Okay, so if and when the Packers are eliminated this year, I am going to be pulling for the Detroit Lions to go on a run. And my reason is these Lions fans that I'm surrounded by every day, yes, they're obnoxious. Yes, they're wrong most of the time about football, but they are adorable. This winning thing is so new to them. It's just cute to see. They're my friends. And so if and when the Packers are eliminated, I will pull for the Lions for the remainder of this season only. To be clear, after this season, I hope Jared Goff comes back to earth. I hope that, balance is restored in the universe. Maybe they start drug testing head coaches and Dan Campbell has to take a vacation. But for this year only, I will be pulling for my friends to be able to celebrate their first Super Bowl victory. The city of Detroit will probably burn down, and that's my take. I know it's controversial. Please don't revoke my Packers card.
Johnny, it's great. There's a great
Such
call.
a great question. Jesse, cut that audio and run it and see if our fans agree with him.
Let me ask you.
I'm generally, or Maddie, whoever's back there today.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I am genuinely interested in that because I thought I'd hold this until next week, and I still will. But
it's because you're leaving at 11:15.
I felt like, no, there's just too much today. I felt the same way, but I think that has changed. Because
Johnny, would you agree that the guy on the field getting after LaFleur was not adorable, which was a great word?
Okay, yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they are obnoxious. It's just too much all the time. But I'll tell you what, my life is way worse when the Packers beat the Lions.
All right. Well, we appreciate
everyone's just happy around me today. And when the Packers beat the Lions, it's the crying Dan Campbell's coming out to blame the officiating. And my life would be much harder this week if the Packers would have won.
I just want you to know you're getting killed in the YouTube comments. Thanks for the call, Johnny. Great call, buddy.
Who the hell gives a whether Ben Russell's
Oh, what a great call. All right. We'll get to more of your calls. So, Sean, Tim, Brian, Dave, Terry, stay there. We will get to you at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. Want to remind you, actually, I think it's Tausch's turn. I'm trying to juggle some things here. Tausch, you got to tell us about Coors Light before I forget.
Oh, I had a Coors Light. Vonnie had a little tequila last night. Old T had a little Coors Light. Yeah, we had a heck of a night. And it is always Coors Light when you need a moment to chill. Make sure that those mountains are blue. That's when you know Coors Light is chilled to perfection. It's always Coors Light in my hand when I'm looking to chill. Celebrate responsibly, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
All right, quick 2-minute timeout, and then back to your calls at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tosher here for Pizza Hut, where the number 7 just got luckier. You already know how much I love Pizza Hut, but have you heard about Pizza Hut's $7 Deal Lovers menu? Enjoy all your Pizza Hut favorites like pizza, boneless wings, melts, cheese sticks, and more for just $7 each when you buy 2 or more. With the $7 Deal Lovers menu, you don't have to choose between great taste and great value. You can have them both. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com. The $7 Deal Lovers menu, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is former Wisconsin linebacker Chris Orr. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station on Wisconsin.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The Green Bay Packers fall 34-31 at the hands of the Detroit Lions last night on Thursday Night Football, meaning the hopes of winning the NFC North in 2024 are all but over. The Packers now 3 games back of the Lions at the top of the NFC North standings. Plus, the Lions own the tiebreaker, having swept the regular season series with Green Bay. The Lions have actually won 6 of the last 7 meetings against the Packers, the lone exception being last year on Thanksgiving Day. Reactions continuing all day on 100.5 ESPN, including with Wilde and Tausch until noon. Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe exclusively on YouTube at 12:30. Kyle Brust and Nortman 2 to 4. Jim, Matt, and Molly from 4 until 6. Then at 6:30 tonight, NCAA tournament second round volleyball action at the Fieldhouse. Number 2 seed Wisconsin Badgers victorious in 3 sets last night over Fairfield. Play host to 7 seed Georgia Tech tonight. First serve set for 7 o'clock. Pre-match show starts at 6:30 right here on 100.5 ESPN. Wilde and Tausch continues now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Hour of Wilde and Tausch. Let's get right to your calls. 844-770-3776. Let's get to Sean in West Bend. Sean, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got for us?
Hey, gentlemen. How's it going today?
It is going
doing all right.
Swimmingly. What do you got?
Okay, so I'm a Lions fan, but I've been listening to you guys for a very long time. Hold on. And as a matter of fact, almost 9 years ago to the day, I called and complained about all of the missed calls leading up to Rodgers' Hail Mary. And now it's kind of nice for the shoe to be on the other foot.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
So look.
Anyways, have a great weekend, gentlemen.
Wow. All right.
No, I'm here.
So in essence, what he's saying is we're a bunch of whining babies like Detroit used to be. That's what he's saying.
Look, Sean, let me ask you this, and that was a great call and funny, and we love that, and concise, but now I'm going to keep you for a second. Do the 4 of us on the panel currently, Sean plus the 3 of us, do any of us really think the Packers lost because of the officiating here?
Well, the PI was a big call, but again,
I'm not saying that, but
yeah, so
Twitter. It's
right.
out there.
Yeah, and I
Twitter's
get
out there.
That's a place.
What about Blue Sky? What are they saying there?
Yeah, Jason's a Blue Sky guy.
Lots of kittens on there. I love it.
Yeah, it's really just a cute little cuddly place over there, I'm sure.
It is. It's all kumbaya. But here's the point that I think Tausch made earlier, and it kind of got swept under with all the energy that he came in with. Do any of us believe that if they don't call the pass interference and the Josh Jacobs touchdown stands and the Packers take the lead again, that the Packers defense is going to get the stop? I believe that the Lions just go down and score a touchdown instead of kick the game-winning field goal, and they still lose. And I think you agree with me.
Trending that way for sure, yeah.
So, all right, Sean, I am curious, how do your friends treat you as a Lions fan in West Bend?
A lot of pity leading up to the last 2.5 years.
And now they don't like you.
But now I think, no, they're all happy. I mean, I've suffered through
Do you try
a lot.
to take their knees out at the water cooler at work?
Well, I'd rather do their knees than their head because I don't want to concuss anybody.
Sure, that's right.
The
There you
NFL,
go.
that's
You
the
and
NFL's
Kirby.
problem. That's not a
That's
Kirby
what the
Joseph
NFL's
problem.
pushing.
Are the Packers the Lions' biggest rival?
I don't know if the Lions have a rival. They've been irrelevant for so long, but I would think so. Maybe.
Right. No,
yeah,
you're
the
right.
answer is
I
yes
love it.
right now. I would
Yeah.
think definitely.
All right, Sean, we appreciate the call. Thanks, buddy. Look, I understand the push and pull here, right? Because as a lover of a good story, a team that has never been to the Super Bowl, they are a really good story. And they got a colorful coach, and they got really good players, and they got a really smart offensive coordinator. But I still, that Kirby Joseph thing yesterday, and watching that play in slow motion, that makes me queasy. And I don't like it when people look like they're trying to hurt people. I understand that that's sometimes part of the game. But man, oh man, I got a problem with that. All right, let's keep going with the calls. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. We've had our first Lions fan. Let's see if there's any more lurking on the talk and text line. Let's go to Tim in Germantown. Tim, good morning. What do you got for us here on Wilde and Tausch?
Good morning. I got a lot here, so bear with me, okay? Last night you saw the future of football in the NFL, and it is the Detroit Lions. And what I'm going to tell you is this, okay? The Packers are playing all night with 2 downs, and Detroit was playing with 4 downs. So it must be engraved in stone up there or something by Ted Thompson and McCarthy that you cannot throw on first down. What was Detroit doing all last night? Throwing on first down, catching them off guard. And so the Packers already lose a down. Now it's 2nd and long, 3rd and long. So they got 2 downs. Detroit was playing with 4 downs. 4 out of 5 times they went for it on 4th down, and they got it. And they won. And I'll tell you what, they are fun to watch. If you were not a Packer fan, that was an entertaining game to watch, and you love what he did. And he's got enough chutzpah that he's not worried about losing his job. And evidently LaFleur is. I don't know. But, you know, it's just that's how it is. And, you know, you can complain about the officiating, everything else. You better hope that San Francisco or somebody gets their act together and faces them in first round in Philadelphia's number 1, because somebody's going to knock them off, because it ain't going to be the Packers.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree.
I get your point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I don't. But your main point. Thanks for the call. Your main point on 4 downs.
Yes.
For as much as we critiqued all of that, and going ahead and getting it, and again, I just want to make sure people understand. I know most fans do. He wasn't doing that to get their kicker 4 more yards. He's doing it so that the Green Bay Packers never
get the ball back. Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I saw enough on Twitter
by the
last
way,
night.
It was a 39-yard field goal if he kicks it right there. It's not like he went from a 52-yarder to a 35-yarder. So
I just want to make sure that is it was the mindset, and I'm not giving you the blanket ball back. I'm going to have our offense dictate what happens the end of this game.
Yep.
The question is, did Matt LaFleur, and I'm always on Matt LaFleur for not sticking with the run game, the touchdown drive, 10 runs out of 12 plays early in the first half. That was the only touchdown drive, right? So did we get a little conservative and run the football? The Packers put 3, they had, I think at some point, a 5-down line on first down. And what Ben Johnson did was like, well, no, we're not going to run into a brick wall. We'll fake it, and we'll pick up 6 yards. We'll take Charlie check down, and we're going to continue. And I said this yesterday. They knew they needed to be 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 2. They weren't going to live 2nd and 10. When Green Bay got them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, that was their only time they were able to get off the field. So this concept of getting to 4th down, I do think it has trended that way in a much bigger way along the whole league. Doesn't mean every 4th down is the same.
Agreed.
But 4th and 2 and 4th and 3 down in the red zone, when you're down in the goal line, I think you have to look seriously a lot more, especially you're not playing the Houston Texans or someone that you feel like you're suffocating on defense. You're playing Detroit. You knew you're going to have a hard time stopping them.
Yeah.
You have to be aggressive. And when you're in a 4th and 2 from the 50, go for it. I think Matt LaFleur could be a little bit more aggressive, and I think Dan Campbell could be a lot less aggressive. There's a fine line, and I think the league is trending more towards Dan Campbell. Matt LaFleur last night, Dan Campbell knew scoring 20 points wasn't going to do it. Kicking field goals wasn't going to do it, and he didn't, and that's a big reason why they won that game last night.
Let's get to one more call before the break. Let's go to Brian in St. Paul, Minnesota. Brian, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, and I would just piggyback Tausch by saying I thought, while Campbell's always aggressive, he was extra aggressive last night because he knew his defense was in big trouble.
Yep.
And they just couldn't hold on. So,
yep.
And that's my frustration with LaFleur is that I don't know how or what I need to say or what people need to see to know that you can never trust this defense. So, like, if you ever coach like, oh, yeah, well, we're going to punt here because our defense will stop, you can never trust them to stop anybody. Like, and if they stop someone 3 times in a row and they kick the ball to the other team, I'll still think they're going to score. And what pains me is that, Jason, actually, you made me mad earlier when you said, Jeff Hafley just doesn't want to bring 5 people. Well, I thought that's why we hired him, that he did want to do that he did want to be aggressive. I mean, if not, to me, this looks like Joe Barry coaching the defense.
All right, so let me interrupt you for a second, and then you can finish, okay? So when I say that he wants to be aggressive, I think that is more the play style and the idea that instead of, for example, your defensive lineman being responsible for 2 gaps and standing there and dancing with the offensive lineman to figure out which gap they need to cover, they want to get them up the field, right? They want guys, instead of staying in this umbrella constantly, they want guys attacking the ball once it's caught underneath or whatever it might be. But he is not a believer in blitzing. So I'm sorry I made you mad, but it's really Jeff Hafley that you should be mad at because that is not his philosophy. My point is that if you guys are not capable of getting home with 4, and I mean getting home with 4, whether it's your front 4 or if it's your simulated pressures where you bring 3 of the 4, but then you bring some random guy as the 4th from corner or linebacker or whatever. If that's not enough, then you got to start blitzing because you don't have much choice. Because you can't keep letting teams pick you apart because your front 4 can't get it done for you. That's all. Fair?
Fair, and that's why Hafley was my biggest negative because it was very clear early that their plan was to keep the ball on offense. So I was begging him to blitz and did Goff until the last possession when he hit Jamison Williams on that about 18 or 20 yard out on the sideline. Did he complete one pass longer than 10 yards outside the numbers?
Ooh, yeah,
It was drop back 5 yards over the middle, back 5 yards over the middle. So clearly he doesn't trust his corners, which leads to maybe this team can't win unless Jair plays, which maybe one of these years he'll grace us with his presence. But so to count on that doesn't have me optimistic. But to me, it was pretty obvious early in the second quarter that you have to bring your corners up and actually, you know what, have some faith in them and dare Jared Goff to throw something deep. And the other part of that is Xavier McKinney is irrelevant if he's just going to have to stand back 25 yards and, just protect big plays, because if he's doing that last night and they're throwing the ball for 7 yards, then you're taking him out of the game, and he's their only above average defensive player on the field last night is Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
So I was so irritated that they were not. I don't blame the pass rush because Goff got the ball out of his hand.
He did.
It seemed like 2 seconds every play, and it was 5 yards over the middle, 5 yards over the middle, and then everything was in the middle of the field between the hashes within 10 to 15 yards of the line of scrimmage, and I just couldn't understand why there was no adjustment to bring everybody up. And if he beats you deep once, fine, but he threw one deep ball in the first half and it wasn't even close to being completed.
Yeah.
And I just thought that this was supposed to be this aggressive defensive coordinator and that Joe Barry had to go because he never blitzed, and it was death by paper cut down the field, hoping the offense makes a mistake. And I just felt like if you would have put Joe Barry in the booth last night, I would have watched the same game, just with a 3-4 instead of a 4-3. It was so frustrating. Jeff Hafley, blitz somebody and make him beat you deep for once instead of watching Laporta and Patrick and Amon-Ra catch 10-yard completions. And I haven't even talked about the screen passes yet, which we might defend those next year maybe, but whatever. But that was my frustration with Hafley. I just thought he stunk last night too.
Yeah. All fair points, Brian. Thanks for the call. Now, Tausch, I would say this, again, I do think it's worth admitting that that's a really good freaking offense, right? And the Packers didn't defend the screen very well, but guess what? They run it better than anybody because they run it so darn often, first of all. But they get yards out of their screen game all the time. That is one of the strengths of their offense. But what I agree with Brian on is they are not going to try and hit you on big plays. You look at their and what's interesting is that they're not vastly different in their philosophy than Miami is, right? Miami, they don't throw deep balls either. They get the ball quickly out of Tua's hand to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Jonnu Smith, and then they do the rest because they got such good team speed. But it's a lot easier to make it difficult on an offense like that when it's snowing at Lambeau as opposed to when you're playing in Ford Field.
It is. I think there needs to be more of a attack style, and if that means more man-to-man, if that means more blitz, I know what we saw last night ain't going to work. That we know. So, and if we're going to sit here and it's January 25th or whatever, if and when the Packers meet this team again, if they beat us running the football and have 250 yards rushing, we are going to crush Jeff Hafley. If what we saw last night, you're going to say, why didn't we do this? Well, you have to stop their run game. If you don't stop their run game, they will wear your blank out all day, every day. I don't want to have a team. And when Vonnie joined us last night, he said, there's nothing more demoralizing to a defense than a 4-minute drill and they pound the ball down our throat and we know it's coming.
Right.
The Packers didn't let that happen last night, but they have to figure out ways to cover the middle of the field in a better way than what they did last night, because that's where they ate all their lunches and then the screens. And you just have to figure something different out, because that formula last night wasn't going to work with how they allowed Jared Goff to be so comfortable.
All right, I want to get to more calls. Let me ask you this quickly, though, because we're talking about how much more aggressive Dan Campbell is, and he goes for it on fourth down. I thought the call earlier about how they're playing with 4 downs. There's risk involved with doing that, but he's right. Matt LaFleur, the opening, the Packers' opening drive, when Love gets sacked on the first play, they eventually get to midfield. It's 4th and 6 at the 49. Should they have gone there?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you are at least at midfield, but that's giving a dynamic offense a short field, and instead you punted. Detroit's on the 8-yard line. They go 3 and out, and you get the ball back at the 48, right? So I guess what I'm saying is that, sometimes punting actually is the right call, and in that instance, you got the ball back in the exact same spot where you gave it up when you punted.
Yeah, I get it. And yes, I just think with the flow of the game, and you knew possessions, you got out time of possess because they converted 4 out of 5 fourth downs. And you need to have as many bites at the apple as you can. And one of the things we haven't even gotten to yet is, where's Jaden Reed? Part of it is we're just not getting any plays. The Bears game, we didn't get any plays. Last night, what did we end up with, 50 plays? I don't
43.
know what the exact 43 blanking plays? You want all these, you got all these weapons, you got to use them, you got to get the ball, you have to possess it. So yes, you punt and you get it back and all that. You knew last night what the game was going to look like. I did, you did, Matt LaFleur did, everybody understood what the task was. Maybe in other games, you're playing the Bears or some teams that offenses aren't as good, you play it that way. If it's 4th and 4, 4th and 5 from midfield, I don't mind going for it. I think you feel confident in your offense that you have plays dialed up. I want to see more aggressiveness when you know you need to have it. It's not about this is what we do. It's about what do we need to do to win this game. And last night we needed to possess the ball more and not let Detroit wear us down. Well, that's not what happened last night.
I'm sorry, 45 plays. That was 43 against the Bears, 45 against the Lions. But either way you slice it, it's too few plays. It's not enough.
Yep.
And then Jordan Love's throwing 20 passes, and he's completing 12. And
so, Jason, when you get to – is LaFleur got a presser today, or are you doing something next week?
Much to my irritation, there is no availability again until Monday.
Okay, so write this down. The lack of plays that they're getting, Matt LaFleur, does that change your mindset at all on any of these fourth downs? When you see what the Lions did, you have to start figuring. And I know he's going to give you the canned answer. We got to be better on 1st and 2nd down so that we can. Bottom line is, you have to find a way to get more plays. You can't keep living mid-40s. You're asking a lot of your defense, anyways. Then you're asking them to play 70, 75 snaps and time of possession. That stuff matters. Would we have gotten a stop if Detroit had 5 minutes less of possession and our defense was resting more? These are all things you don't know the answer to, but I think we know the answer to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, all I can tell you is Jordan Love only completed 12 passes on the night, and 4 of them went complete to Dontavion Wicks, your Steinhoffel Sleeper of the Week winner. And you'll be a winner during the Steinhoffel's Cyber Week sale going on right now. Get some of the biggest savings of the season. Save up to $300 on a sofa, $450 on dining tables, $600 on recliners, $800 on queen beds, and up to $1,000 on adjustable base beds. Plus, with Steinhoffel's 60-month financing, your new room just got a lot more affordable. Hurry in the sale and Sunday, both in-store and online at steinhoffels.com. More of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tausch here reminding you that every Friday on Wilde and Tausch is a feel-good Friday painted by Home and Lindsay Paint. So you'll be feeling good if you do what my family did when we moved into our new home, and that's trusting the pro painters from Home and Lindsay for your biggest project. Home and Lindsay's pros were incredible. They did the job so much better than we could, and they made the whole process super easy. All you have to do to get connected, stop into any of Home and Lindsay's Madison area locations, ask, and they'll help get you set up with the pro painters that are perfect for what you need. And remember, Wisconsin's best painters use Wisconsin's best paint, and Wisconsin's best painters are the pro painters at Home and Lindsay Paints. I hope you enjoy every feel-good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Home and Lindsay Paints.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
There's always pressure. You got to find ways to deal with that pressure and handle as best you can to be the best.
This is your green and gold fix on 100.5 ESPN.
Obviously, there's going to be things that turn up along the way. You got to be able to adjust.
This green and gold fix is driven by Metro Ford.
3 more touchdowns from Packers stud Josh Jacobs. Not enough in Detroit as they fall 34-31 on a walk-off field goal to the Lions on Thursday night. Jordan Love going 12 of 20 in the game, but he's still confident, especially in his offense moving forward.
Turned it around and started hitting on some of those explosive plays, but I think we're right there with them as an explosive offense, so we're not worried about it.
The 9-4 Packers wake up on Friday morning in the 6th seed, and it looks like right now they'd be going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, who, by the way, are their next opponent next Sunday night.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Grassland Dairy is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin and sustained by innovation. Since 1904, the Wietrich family has worked with hundreds of dairy farmers to consistently produce the highest quality dairy products. Grassland's commitment to quality starts with the way their dairy farmers care for their cows and carries through every step of their innovative processing and delivery. They are proud to offer a wide range of reliable and nutritious dairy ingredients. Grassland Dairy is family owned in Wisconsin and has been crafting butter for 5 generations.
Kyle Walls here from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Bruston Norman, and you know I'm watching every snap this football season with the Underdog Fantasy Sports app in hand. With over 5 million people playing and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in. Make a play with just $1 or go big. Play their pick'em game, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You make picks for a pick'em entry and choose if players will go higher or lower when it comes to their stats. Maybe it's Jordan Love higher than 250 passing yards, or even Travis Kelce under 1.5 touchdowns. You can even win when you lose with Underdog's Double Flex option. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up using promo code KBN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code KBN, and join me and millions of others and win big. Must be 18 plus and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org.
I'm attorney David Gruber. We've helped injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust our hometown team to get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee for Steinhoffels. Steinhoffels is partnering with Special Spaces Wisconsin and the Green Bay Packers to create dream bedrooms for children battling cancer all across Wisconsin. This season, every time the Packers make a field goal, Steinhoffels will donate $1,000 to Special Spaces Wisconsin. Steinhoffels has been Wisconsin's furniture and mattress leader since 1934, is 100% employee-owned, and is a proud partner of the Green Bay Packers.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Keep rolling with the calls, 844-770-3776. I know there's a bunch of you on hold. I see some new names as well in the rundown. We are getting to you as quickly as we can. Let's go north of the border. I hear there's talk of adding it as the 51st state by some in the political realm. That means Ricardo would be all ours then. It is Ricardo in Canada. Ricardo, good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Not going to lie, little frustrated. Yesterday was definitely a frustrating game. So I'm just going to point out a few things, okay?
Yeah.
First things first. Oh, man, we need to get better set up for these big-time games. And it starts with the coach, the maturity level. We let our emotions ride us for the first half. And it started with Matt LaFleur. What is that nonsense with that fan before the game? You're bigger than that, bro. You make millions of dollars. This is some guy who's never, he wanted his 2 minutes of fame. You're bigger than that. Let that go. You know what I mean? Just let that go. The officiating, god awful all game. And don't give me this, it went both ways. We had maybe one or two go. It was bad. Even on the last play with the Jared Goff, if you guys watch it, his knee was down before he hands off the ball. I don't know why they didn't call it dead or review that, because his knee was definitely down before he handed off the ball. Look at the replays. Trust me, we got the Canadian version up here. We can see it clearly. And second of all, everyone can talk about the defense. I get it. The defense is what it is. It's been like this forever. We will always win and lose by our offense. We are an offensive team. We'll always be an offensive team. If our offense doesn't show up for the first two quarters, we have no chance in hell of winning the game, of winning a championship, of winning any game at all. I don't care who's the opponent. The offense cannot start off a big game like this and neutral like that. It cannot happen. I don't care if it's the coach. I don't care if it's the players. They need to figure it out. We need to start big games like this on the front foot. We are not a team that can just, play the last quarter or two. It is what it is. And by the way, this whole Dan Campbell, he's so brave and tough. No, he's reckless, okay? Don't give me that. It's because of this stuff that he didn't go to the Super Bowl last year. Everyone forgot about that. Congratulations. You won a game in the regular season. Do it again in the playoffs, and it's not gonna happen. And they're gonna kick out again. And again, they're gonna support him. No, they're gonna be like, that was a bad call. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I'm happy with Matt LaFleur. I'm not too worried about his decision making in that aspect. I think Dan Campbell was a little reckless. And you know what? Let's just, it is what it is. Let's just get through the weekend. Let's go to Seattle. Let's get a win in the column, and let's start building up towards the playoffs. We'll beat that. We'll play them again, and we'll beat them again. Don't worry.
What gives you that confidence that they will play them again and beat them? That's my question that I ask.
Because we scored 31 points in two quarters. We literally scored 31 points in two quarters. The first half was god awful. I mean bad. We looked like a high school team that didn't know how to tie their own shoelaces. Be honest. And guess what? And we still had that, and we still made that cut. We came back in the second half. They got their emotions under check. You can tell they looked different. Even Jordan Love looked different. Everybody they're like, okay, let's settle down. Let's get this play rolling. That's what gives me the confidence. And you know what? And I think if they get their emotion in check, they will be fine. And then unfortunately, they also have the bad habit of we lost every safety in the game except for Xavier. We started playing a special team player as a safety. That was just a hard luck. But,
made a hell of a play.
Zane Anderson is a safety for the record.
Yeah, he doesn't
play very often, but
yeah, and I play soccer too in a men's house league. You don't want me playing for the Canadian national team? Come on.
That's a
you know what I mean?
Comparison.
Hey, if you
very
get
bold comparison.
let us know if you get the opportunity with the Canadian national team, though.
Ricardo, if you play on the Canadian national team, even if you're not the 51st state, we're coming up to watch.
I appreciate that. I'll give you guys free tickets. I promise. I'll use my connections.
We appreciate you, buddy. Thanks.
I'll eat chicken tenders from Quick Trip if Ricardo plays for the Canadian national team.
Good one,
Crow
Jesse.
tenders. Good one.
Forgot to get my Glazers on the way in today because the Packers lost. Sorry.
Still got a few of those canisters, too, for your Glazers, I noticed in my last stop. 844-770-3776. Let's get to another call here. Then we'll get to more as we roll on after this. Let's go to Dave in Atlanta. Dave, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks so much. My positive was Jordan Love. I mean, the guy is calm. He doesn't get rattled. It's like he's sitting waiting for his coffee at Starbucks the whole game. He's just, and the news conference after, that's a very valuable commodity, and that's not what Goff used to be in with the Rams. He was a scaredy cat. The only biggest thing Dan Campbell gave that team was instilling confidence in Goff.
Totally.
He made Goff a lot
agree
better.
with that. Yep.
Just from the neck up, right? But Dan Campbell, I'm really getting tired. You guys aren't doing it, but everybody else is. He's such a genius, you know. He is. Your last caller was right. Guy's reckless. If it works, it's look at the guts. If it fails, it's stupid, right? And so, you know, to me, he reminds me of the big dumb high school maybe linebacker who's roided up and aggressive. And you know, Matt LaFleur should be the high school newspaper editor who can outthink him.
That's why Wilde likes him so much.
You let him. Yeah. So when they get aggressive with their rush, screens. Did we run any screens? I'm not sure we did. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I just think that. And the other thing is with the offensive line that Tausch talked about. So Darius Smith was on a revenge trip, right? Nobody's really giving him the credit for being the psycho he is at the right time, or the destructive force that he is with his last 19 teams. But you know, I just don't think that Campbell's game strategy is smart, and I think I agree with Tausch. Now, you go to their place, you lose by a field goal at the gun. How bad was it? I mean, yeah, we have some things that are a problem. Yes, the rush sucks, and Hafley should blitz more. But my final point is this. The other thing I wish other people would stop is, we didn't have Jair. What did Amon St. Brown do yesterday? 2 catches? 3 maybe? It's like there was no big deep threat. There was no big Amon St. Brown going nuts. We had enough to cover, and yes, you're right. We should have brought down Xavier into the middle to stop this middle stuff. It's been going on all year. That's how you attack the Packers. The middle's always open. Bring Xavier McDaniel down, or bring him down, and that will help to stop that. But anyway, my positive is Jordan Love. The guy's great. Take him in, like Tausch says, 100 out of 100.
Yeah, great call, Dave. We appreciate you. The jump cut throw to Watson was phenomenal. Like, when I saw him make that throw, it went through my brain. Remember when I used to say we didn't see enough wow throws from him? Now we see him all the time, and that was a big-time wow throw. To Dave's point, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 targets, 5 catches for 43 yards. Their pass distribution, Tim Patrick had 6 catches for 43 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gibbs, 6 for 30. Williams had 5 for 80. He was like their one kind of big play guy. He averaged 16 yards a catch with a long of 28. But otherwise, Tausch, again, it's not like they're beating you over the top. So to the point about moving McKinney up and having him more involved, I have a hard time pushing back on that. I think it's a fair critique.
Yeah, and it's the play action pass. You know what they want to do. It's your job to not let them do it. But the tough part of that is, because it's easy to sit here and critique Jeff Hafley, Joe Barry. It doesn't matter. It's really tough when you have a really good run team and you're very concerned about that. You have to stop something. And I get last year, remember, or a couple years ago, Validation Thursday. I always go back to this, where Tannehill goes for 4 bills. I'm going to let Tannehill beat me. I'm not letting Derrick Henry run for 200. Now, the easy thing to say is, well, can't we be better? Sure. And that's a fair point. Mm-hmm. But you have to take away something. Detroit understood it. That's why they threw on 1st and 2nd down, did the play action, and we didn't have any answers for it. that's the thing we have to figure out. We have to figure out ways to be more disruptive than what we were last night.
We did our prize picks for the weekend yesterday. I think I told you less on Jordan Love, and old boy here told you more. Jesse, which did you end up playing?
Well, because our pregame show went an hour and 15 minutes on the Wisconsin Badgers Volleyball Radio Network, I was unable to get my prize picks in before the game started.
So they saved you money is what you're saying.
Perhaps. I felt like I would have been right on a few of my selections had I got them in time last night.
Tausch, how was your night?
I didn't have a great night. I went more with Jordan Love. That didn't work. I went less with Jared Goff. That didn't work. So not a great night, but it's still a ton of fun with prize picks. Over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. It's made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody, and it is simple pick. More or less. I went more. I went less. I lost both. Lost it all. But you know what? It was still fun. Prize picks will keep your lineup live. They put their members first. So when you do win, all your withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you get your money right about 15 minutes. Now you can win up to 100 times your money on prize picks with as little as 4 correct picks. And it's Merry Picksmas. Every day, something new pops up. You don't know what it's going to be. You get different discounts. You get different things on these projections. Download the app today. Use that code WI, and you get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize picks.
Run your game. More of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Going back to the days when I was a kid participating in the Book It program, I've always loved Pizza Hut. Now I love picking up delicious food from Pizza Hut as I make new memories with my family. And one of the great things about Pizza Hut is the number 7, as in their $7 Deal Lovers menu. You can now enjoy all your Pizza Hut favorites like pizza, boneless wings, pasta, melts, cheese sticks, desserts, and more for just $7 each when you buy 2 or more. Want a medium one-topping pizza? A chicken, bacon, Parmesan melt? Chocolate donut bites? Order them all for just $7 each. How about an order of 8-piece boneless wings? Chicken Alfredo pasta? $7 each. Order on the app or online at pizzahut.com. The $7 Deal Lovers menu, only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by The Jump Around. Don't miss new episodes of this exclusive digital show talking all things Wisconsin sports, premiering every Thursday at 12:30, streaming live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. Lamar Campbell joining The Jump Around with Jim Rutledge, the former Badger touching on recruiting the next wave of Badgers. Soup's thoughts on how to do that while upholding Wisconsin's values.
We can be progressive, we can recruit, we can do things differently, but a tradition of tough, smart, dependable, great defense, great offensive linemen, running back, serviceable quarterback. We've been able to find stars at the skill positions by focusing on, basically who we are. And I know we kick off, August 30th, 2025, but in my mind, a lot of the alumni mind, kickoff starts now.
If you're not getting windows from Santa, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month. PellaWI.com.
Celebrate Wisconsin hospitality at a Buck & Honey's location near you. You can give your friends or loved ones a memorable experience with a Buck & Honey's gift card. Or treat yourself. For every $100 in gift cards purchased, you'll get $20 back to use at Buck & Honey's in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, or the new location in Mount Horeb. Oh, don't forget to make yourself reservations for the holidays. Offer availability between November 15th and December 31st. Locally owned and operated. We'll see you at Buck & Honey's.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
Ho, my back.
Santa?
Ho, Gina Dello from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Santa's doing OT.
Let me make a call.
Frighteningly fast Pella team at your service. Let us take it from here, Mr. Claus. And Gina, next time.
I know. Ask for a Pella gift card. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month.
PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 12/31/2024.
Perth,
Athletic Club is the ultimate destination for health, wellness, and crushing your goals. This is Sarah Tauscher. Say goodbye to post-workout aches and pains at the Pack's new Recovery Zone. With their assisted stretch and pneumatic boot sessions, you can get instant results, leaving you feeling refreshed and ready to tackle your next workout. Don't believe it works? Give it a try. Stop in, stretch your body, and relax your mind at the Pack. Visit prairieathletic.com to learn more. Prairie Athletic Club, family, fun, community.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
The College Football Playoff on ESPN Radio.
College Football Playoff is expanding to 12 teams.
Touchdown! Unbelievable! The College Football Playoff, Round 1, December 20th and 21st on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Ready to roll, ready or not, ready to give it all I got. Gotta live to win it up, get even. Ready to roll, ready or not.
Get some more of your calls in a second. 844-770-3776. Dave in St. Pete, you are on deck. Want to remind you, though, that it's time again. Our favorite. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Time for the ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringle Jingle for Your Kringle contest here on Wilde and Tausch. All you have to do is submit your own original jingle to celebrate the holidays and Racine Danish Kringle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll take the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner gets Kringle for a year. The only requirement, make sure you include Racine Danish Kringle. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. And if you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new Eggnog Holiday Kringle. Let's get back to the calls. Jesse, what's with the Brewers shirt today?
I just like the Brewers, and I think I look good in this shirt. And because I lost my weight thanks to Madison weight loss, I fit back in it now.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
All right.
Go
Let's go to the
Brewers.
phones. You do look great. I'm not.
Oh, thanks, Jason.
I'm not denying that. Just interesting.
Hey, well, I got my mic on. Can I say something? I don't know when I'm going to say this nugget otherwise today. The Packers are 0-4 in exclusive streaming games all time.
Peacock for sale.
They lost on Peacock to start the year, and they are 0-3 on Amazon Prime against the Titans and the Lions twice.
Bezos. It's easy. Blame the refs and blame Bezos. By the way, I love Al Michaels, man. I love him. He is one of the greats. The greatest call of all time. 1980 Lake Placid.
Uh-oh.
It's time. It is time. It's time.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it is.
All right.
Dude, that was a great game last night. Can we all agree? Excitement, everything the NFL
game.
wants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Zane Anderson goes in. Zane Anderson, nice job making a tackle on third down. Good effort on that. Like, come on now. Let's get a little enthusiasm.
He's letting the crowd tell the story.
No, that's not what happened. Come on. We got to be honest with ourselves, people. Right? Or you guys are thinking Al Michaels has still got his fastball.
No. You know who does have their fastball? Greg on Twitter.
Yeah, he's good.
Just sent potatoes for sale. Potatoes for sale. The new children's book available at Quick Trip. Tausch up in the tree with the guy's hair and with a
Greg's
big bag of russet potatoes.
I think Greg might be playing himself in that Hall of Fame talk.
He certainly will be doing the program for it. Let's get some more calls. It's so good. It is so good. Better than the Gootinator. That's how good this one is.
He's good.
Very, very impressive. All right, let's get some more of your calls. 844-770-3776. Dave in St. Pete, thanks for holding on, buddy. What do you got for us?
All right, so I wanted to give you some stats here. So the Lions in 2 games with the Packers this year are 6 for 8 on fourth down conversions, and they scored 4 of their 6 offensive touchdowns against the Packers on fourth downs. So in the first game, they had 2 touchdowns. They were 2 out of 3. In the second game, they were 4 out of 5 and had 2 touchdowns and ended the game, ran the clock out on fourth down. And the fact of the matter is that Campbell and his team is better at situational football than the Packers are. And it's a calculated risk against a team that's not good at situational football. The team has been bad with situational football for over a decade, and it's the reason why Aaron Rodgers only has 1 ring.
I think there's a fair criticism of my guy Big Mike on some of that stuff for sure. Let me ask you something, Dave.
Very frustrating.
Not for your Social Security number or annual income, but do you work in numbers? Because I'm intrigued by how you are making your argument, because it's pretty convincing. And again, my point was, I don't know how many fourth down opportunities the Packers necessarily had to go for it, but combining your call with an earlier call about how basically the Packers are playing with 2 downs and the Lions are always playing with 4 downs, I don't have a whole lot of pushback for you on that.
Well, in interest of full disclosure, I am a lawyer. So I don't know if that weighs in at all.
Oh, you make a convincing argument. He's making an argument. Well done.
What's your best lawyer joke that's available for air?
Just make sure it doesn't have
I think
any.
all of them cast me in a negative light, so I'm going to refrain from making it.
Just like Tausch should refrain from a phrase that he used earlier in the show. All right. I'm sorry to interrupt, Dave. What else you got?
But I was just going to tell Tausch I'm going to send him a bill for 0.1 hours for that.
Yeah, good.
Nice. Thanks for the call. We appreciate you. Look, Tausch, this is obviously a pretty strong theme here, right? Is this situational football, going for it on fourth down, some of the decisions that are made. I think it's a fair critique, but I also am looking at the play-by-play from last night, and I don't see a whole lot of situations where Matt LaFleur was presented with a, do I do this or do I do that? Now, if you want to critique his play calling, he has to do that for himself as well. But I don't know if there were necessarily instances where he had to make those type of calls. And maybe, and this would be my question for you, maybe this is where you trace it back to some of the play calling because you're not in, 4th and 2s. The decision you make on 3rd and 8 isn't what Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson choose to do, which is a lot of times, right, run it to get like 4 or 5 so you're in 4th and 3, and then you feel more comfortable about going for it. How do you view Matt LaFleur? We've talked a lot about Dan Campbell. How do you view Matt LaFleur in this realm?
I think Matt LaFleur is by nature aggressive. So he's not aggressive like Dan Campbell, and some would say reckless. I tend to lean on the reckless side of it, especially the end of the game scenario. But for Matt LaFleur, I do think Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, there was one, it was 3rd and 5, and they ran a run play, and it got stopped for 1 yard, and they punted. That's a case where they are planning on going for it. They think they're going to get 3 or 4, maybe bust it.
Right.
Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, they don't think it, but Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. They trust him to make a play on 3rd and 8. I think the Lions look at it more like, I feel good about being 4th and 2, better than being aggressive on 3rd and 8. Everybody's got to figure out what that formula is for them, and I think the Packers are looking at it more of a 3-down operation, and Detroit looks at it as 4 downs. It's a heck of a lot easier to get 10 yards on 4 downs than on 3rd. Now, is it always going to work? It backfired, and Green Bay got a 30-yard field and scored a touchdown to take the lead.
Right.
Most teams, that would be a gut punch. Detroit's used to it. They say, okay, yep, all right, let's get back. And that Herb Street said, all right, now how do you respond? Well, how do they respond? They're going to take the lead. You got to know your football team. And I think Matt LaFleur, right now, does he trust that we're going to get a 4th and 2, that we have enough plays, that we're going to get that? Obviously, he doesn't, or he would be just as aggressive as what Dan Campbell is.
All right, we'll get to Terry in San Diego, Ace in Mount Horeb, Kamal in Madison, and Chris in Dayton, Ohio, coming up next after Tausch tells us about AmFam and what they've got going on right now.
They do. Badger fans, big tussle tomorrow down at Fiserv versus Marquette. Everybody's excited about that one next year. They'll be back up at the Kohl Center, and American Family Insurance wants to give you and a friend a VIP experience at a basketball game during the next season. You and a friend, pre-game sideline or courtside passes, probably courtside if it's hoops, a tour of the facility, tons of great merch to support your Badgers. Enter today at amfam.com/Badgers. No purchase is necessary. Dream fearlessly, insure carefully.
More calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Mark Tausch here reminding you that every Friday on Wilde and Tausch is a feel-good Friday painted by Home and Lindsay Paint. So you'll be feeling good if you do what my family did when we moved into our new home, and that's trusting the pro painters from Home and Lindsay for your biggest project. Home and Lindsay's pros were incredible. They did the job so much better than we could, and they made the whole process super easy. All you have to do to get connected, stop into any of Home and Lindsay's Madison area locations, ask, and they'll help get you set up with the pro painters that are perfect for what you need. And remember, Wisconsin's best painters use Wisconsin's best paint. And Wisconsin's best painters are the pro painters at Home and Lindsay Paints. I hope you enjoy every feel-good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Home and Lindsay Paints.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
There's always pressure. You got to find ways to deal with that pressure and handle as best you can to be the best.
This is your green and gold fix on 100.5 ESPN.
Obviously, there's going to be things that turn up along the way. You got to be able to adjust.
This green and gold fix is driven by Metro Ford.
3 more touchdowns from Packers stud Josh Jacobs. Not enough in Detroit as they fall 34-31 on a walk-off field goal to the Lions on Thursday night. Jordan Love going 12 of 20 in the game, but he's still confident, especially in his offense moving forward.
Turned it around and started hitting on some of those explosive plays, but I think we're right there with them as an explosive offense, so we're not worried about
the
it.
9-4 Packers wake up on Friday morning in the 6th seed, and it looks like right now they'd be going to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, who, by the way, are their next opponent next Sunday night.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
Mark Tausch here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
Come see what the buzz is all about at Madison Axe, Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Enjoy 8 lanes of axe throwing, craft beer, interactive games, plus digital target projection and scoring. For even more fun, check out their indoor backyard with 2,000 square feet of shuffleboard, cornhole, yard games, bar table games, and more. Perfect for date night, groups, corporate meetings, or private events. Madison Axe is your destination for all things fun. Throw it, nail it, celebrate. Go to MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
LabCorp Clinical Trials is changing to a new name, Fortrea. While the name may be different, Fortrea combines decades of great experience and professionalism with new opportunities for clinical trial participation. It's more than a mission and more than a new name. Fortrea is dedicated to moving healthcare forward. To learn more about the future of healthcare and upcoming clinical trials, visit us at FortreaClinicalTrials.com. That's FORTREA clinicaltrials.com.
ESPN Madison is on Wisconsin Sports. Catch what you missed on the Varsity Podcast on Wisconsin On Demand, brought to you by Game Day Men's Health Middleton. Keep your performance up and on track in all areas of your life with Game Day Men's Health. Check them out at GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Middleton.
Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's makes the good stuff for good times. Find recipes, videos, and more at Tito'sVodka.com.
get to more calls. 844-770-3776. We will have time for calls in the 11 o'clock hour, too. And just FYI, Tausch has some hockey commitments, so he will be departing around 11:15. So let's get to as many calls as we can, but we'll still have room for you and even more room because you'll get to talk more in the 11 o'clock hour. Let's go to Terry in San Diego. Terry, good morning. Thanks for holding on so long. What do you got?
Morning, guys. My positive is just Josh Jacobs being so solid and dependable every week. I feel like we're back in almost the Amon Green era where we can count on a running back. I loved Aaron Jones, but he was far more up and down. But negative, I got to say, I think the discussion about the defense and Jeff Hafley is one that might be missing the forest for the trees. The Packers scored 29 points against the Eagles and lost. They scored 29 points against Minnesota and lost. They scored 31 points against Detroit and lost last night. This has been the Packers' MO, not just this year, but really since about 2011. I mean, this is who the Packers are in defense, and we always hear, oh, it is what it is. Last night, I watched a Packers defense that featured 6 first-round picks out on the field get outperformed by a Lions defense that featured a bunch of guys who were on other teams' practice squads earlier in the week.
Well,
76 plays for Detroit to 45 for Green Bay. Under 300 yards for Green Bay, 391 yards for Detroit. I'd like to mention that the 2023 15th overall pick, Will McDonald, has 10 sacks on the season, while the 13th overall pick has 3. I contend that if he was not a first-round pick by the current GM, Eric Stokes would likely not be on the roster, and he certainly shouldn't be getting snaps at this point. And I'd like to ask both of you this question. Is there a more overpaid edge in the NFL than Rashawn Gary and his 5.5 sacks? And yeah, he was going up against the backup left tackle and Dan Skipper much of the night last night. I didn't really see much of him. And I also like to know whether there's a more overpaid cornerback in the NFL than Jair Alexander, who has missed roughly half of all games played over the last 4 seasons. But I'd really like to know why, after 7 years as our GM, Brian Gutekunst is not held more accountable for all the personnel failures on the defensive side of the ball. The kind of failures that led nearly every Packer fan across the country to fully expect that the defense was going to give up that game-winning drive last night. It's gotten old. I'm tired of hearing it is what it is. I'm watching Brian Flores do more with less in Minnesota. I'm also taking note that our best defensive player by a mile is someone who was not drafted in Green Bay. I think we need to really come to terms with the fact the Packer organization doesn't know how to concoct a roster or that can get the defensive roster. Offense, they're good. But that defense, it's not a Super Bowl winning defense. And if you look at it, we're actually at 21.1 points on the year. Last year with Joe Barry, we're at 21.4. You can't keep blaming the defensive coordinators. At some point, it must be at least somewhat accountable on the personnel side of the ball. And I'll hang up and listen.
Tausch, your rebuttal.
I can't get into, when you start looking at Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Jair's injury, and he hasn't been the same player since he got paid. Rashawn Gary has not done what we expected when he got paid. There's a lot of points that he just brought up that are valid. Is this defense markedly better than last year's? I would say it's better because Xavier McKinney's on it.
Yeah.
And by the way,
it's true.
You can't say one thing without the other. Brian Gutekunst brought in Xavier McKinney. He didn't draft him, but he's on the team. And so it's a comprehensive deal. Have the first round picks that Brian Gutekunst has brought in lived up to the billing? I can't sit here and say yes.
No.
And that's coming from somebody that thinks Brian Gutekunst has done a really good job. I can't.
Tausch, tell us about Johnson & Sons Paving before we kick off the 11 o'clock hour.
Get ready for spring and do it now. Call Johnson & Sons Paving to make sure no pavement hazards get worse over the winter. Potholes and cracked curbs, drainage issues. If things are bad now, Call Johnson & Sons Paving to get it fixed today. Schedule a free no-obligation quote. Get a walkthrough of your pavement to be able to see signs of asphalt pavement work that is needed by spotting that fatigue, cracking, standing water, warping, buckling, sinking pavement, and more. Don't scare away customers or tenants with bad curb appeal. Book now and save money later. JohnsonSonsPaving.com.
More of your calls in the 11 o'clock hour, which starts in 2 minutes, so make sure you stick around and stay on hold. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, if you need a bath or shower remodel this holiday season, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hey, it's Kelly Sheffield, Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Celebrations Entertainment, complete event services for weddings, corporate events, non-profit events, outdoor movies, casino nights, and much more. Go to celebrationsentertainment.com to get started today. The Green Bay Packers fall on Thursday Night Football 34-31 at the hands of the Detroit Lions. Detroit has now defeated Green Bay in 6 of their last 7 meetings, the lone exception being last year on Thanksgiving Day. And more significantly for the standings this year, the Lions now 3 full games up on the Packers, plus Detroit owns the tiebreaker thanks to sweeping the regular season series. So, all things considered, it appears the NFC North Division title is out of the question now for the Green Bay Packers with just a few games left in the regular season. Plenty of reactions to last night's loss all day long here on 100.5 ESPN, including with Wilde and Tausch until noon. Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe streaming exclusively on YouTube at 12:30. Kyle Bruston Nortman 2 to 4, Jim Matt and Molly from 4 to 6, and then we shift to round 2 of the NCAA tournament. College volleyball, Wisconsin, Georgia Tech. First serve tonight at 7 o'clock on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
To the phones we go. And we go out to Mount Horeb and talk to Ace. Ace, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you?
Hey, Tauschinator, Jasonator, what's going on, boys?
Not much, Acenator.
How are you, bud?
Good. Hey, my negatives and positives, the last caller kind of blew my thunder there a little bit. But I'm going to give it to Goody. I know. Because Tuckercraft, stud. Jacobs, stud.
Uh-huh.
But all these first-round picks in the defense, they stink. It's like they're like third and fourth rounders. They play like third and fourth rounders, but it's been this way for so long. You know, when they had the ball, when Detroit had the ball, and that last drive, I was sitting with a few friends, and we all said the same thing: game over. Our defense can't stop them, and it didn't. God ate them up. No pressure.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
So here's the question that I have because of what you and the caller who stole your thunder delivered, Ace. When you look at Goody's drafts, who are the best defensive players he's drafted? Right? Because now, once upon a time, we were all in on Jair and talking about a deep point. Look, injuries happen in this game, but he has not rebounded from, quite frankly, the shoulder injury and getting paid. Now, he's had a lot of other injuries. I don't know what it looks like if he stays healthy, but we're talking about, if you just look at the top 3 rounds, the defensive players that he has drafted starting in 2018. Jair, Josh Jackson, Jesse's guy, Oren Burks, Rashawn Gary, Darnell Savage. No one on defense in 2020 at the top of the draft. 2021, Eric Stokes. 2022, Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt. 2023, Lucas Van Ness. And 2024, Edgerrin Cooper, Javon Bullard, Tyron Hopper. Tausch, when I look at that, and thanks for the call, Ace, when I look at that, despite all the first-round investments going all the way back to Kenny Clark when Ted drafted him, the other investments haven't panned out either in the second and third rounds, but there's not a ton of them. Maybe we have given him a bit of a pass on the defensive talent and the misses or at least disappointments that he's drafted. Is that fair to say or not?
Well, I think when you look at last night's game, it's tough for me to sit here and argue. Jair out, Edgerrin Cooper out. You can go through Evan Williams. There have been some players. Obviously, Rashawn Gary and Devontae Wyatt, we needed more last night. We've seen some flashes, but from a consistency standpoint, have they lived up to the billing of being first-round picks? The answer is no, they haven't.
Yeah.
Not this season. And all the other stuff, Rashawn Gary, before he blew his knee out, I thought was emerging as that guy. And for whatever reason, he's not gotten back there. He did have a sack last night, in fairness to him. But from a consistency standpoint of getting pressure on quarterbacks against good teams, we have not seen that. And yes, Goody, I give Goody a ton of credit. I also say when things aren't. And last night, the defensive guys didn't show up to the point where we needed them to be.
Let's get to another call before we say goodbye to Old T. Let's go to Kamal in Madison. Kamal, I know you held on for a long time. Thanks for waiting. What do you got?
Oh, made the cut. So positives and negatives, I think everybody kind of went through them, but I think it's the defense. As it stands now, we're not a Super Bowl team. As a matter of fact, hot take here, I don't know that we're going to make the playoffs. If we play, well, hang on a second. There's nobody that loves the Packers more than I. Well, there's a lot of people that love Packers, but I love them as much as anybody else. But I want to say that since the Chicago game, last night, two punts, Detroit had. We can't have that's just not a Super Bowl contender. In my opinion, offense.
It's a really good offense. The other guys do get paid too. Remember?
No, I know that, but an elite defense will at least have a couple 3-and-outs. You can't. They had time of possession. It's same with the Chicago Bears. If the Chicago Bears are going to come in here on the last game, we need to win 2 games of the next 4 to make the playoffs.
We won't even come on. I'm going to tell you right now, we're making the playoffs. You can book it, and I don't say that stuff lightly. You can book it. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, to me, go ahead.
No. That was the only thing that I had to add was I think the coaching decisions. You were talking about the OPI. If it wasn't called, then they would have gotten scored. Well, it's a lot easier to manage the clock when you only need a field goal. If they needed a touchdown, we might have gotten the ball back.
Right.
So
maybe
that's that.
All right.
Yeah.
I appreciate the call, and you're super loyal, even if we disagree with your take on the playoffs. Thanks for the call. Now, Tausch, before you go, I do want to ask this because I think Kamal is wrong. They will make the playoffs. They're 9-4. We know what they're. Look, next week's no picnic, right?
No.
Going to Seattle is less than ideal.
Seattle's frauds.
Again, playing on the road is not easy.
Yeah, it won't be an easy game.
Okay.
New Orleans will be an easy game.
You got the Saints, then you got the Vikings on the road, and then you got the Bears at home. There are 2 wins there. I don't know which 2. But there are at least 2 wins there. They're going to be 11-6 at worst. They're going to make the playoffs.
Jason, I legit am thinking right now, what are the chances the Packers play their starters against the Chicago Bears weeks? That's legit.
Because they can't change their standing? Maybe
they're going to be a 5 or 6. And then you start wondering, do you actually start they're not going to jockey. Where it's like, I'd rather play up in Detroit rather than having to go play. You're going to want to play. You're going to want to be 5 or 6. You're going to want to play either the West or the South division winner. That's what you want
Correct.
as a Packer fan.
Yes, because 7 will play 2. That looks like it's going to be Philadelphia most likely. Right now, that's
I think
Washington.
it's going to be Detroit. I think it's going to be Detroit, but okay.
You think Detroit's going to lose the number 1 overall seed?
I think Detroit is beat up. I know
that's
they
what I
played
heard
well
going into last night too.
Well, did we not score a bunch of points? We did.
Yeah, did Detroit not score a bunch of points?
It's fair.
All right, let me ask you this then. If you were to jockey before you go, who are you trying to avoid? Are you trying to avoid Philly on the road? Are you trying to avoid Detroit on the road? Like, are those are the top 2 teams right now? After that, right now, if the season ended today, Seattle wins the West, Atlanta wins the South at 6-6.
Yeah, I'd rather play Atlanta than have to go out to Seattle. But I don't think there's a market difference. I think the big thing is be healthy. I don't think they're going to rest guys because they're a young team and you want to keep it rolling. You're going to want to try and finish this thing off strong. But the big motivation, motivating and getting guys back up for a game out in Seattle next week will tell you a lot about where this team's mentality is. Yeah. Because the air came out of the balloon last night. There's the division's gone. You had a lot of things that were in play, and you dumped your bucket last night. You can say what you want. That team brought energy. They came. The offensive line didn't play well in the first half, but you look at it, it wasn't like that group came out flat. They just got – Detroit's a good football team, guys. How are you going to react to the fact that now you're pretty much locked into one of these 2 spots? How are you as a football team and as a program going to address and move forward with this when you have a young team that is a playoff? I think you're going to see them continue to push, but I'll be fascinated to see how that works out.
All right, you got to go drop the puck. So tell us about Coors Light one last time, and we bid you a fond farewell.
Coors Light, brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill. Born in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado in 1978, Coors Light is refreshing. It is crisp. It is only 102 calories. That's why it is Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Bye, old T.
See you guys.
We will continue with your calls, even as Tausch abandons us.
He takes a lot of time off, huh?
What? It's interesting that you chose to wait until after he left to take that shot.
Well,
Gutsy, bold. More of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Well, the wonderful team at Zimbrick Chevy extends you warm wishes for a happy holiday season. And while celebrating and spending extra time with family and friends brings us all joy, the team at Zimbrick reminds you to make sure your vehicle is well equipped to handle winter travel to get you safely everywhere you want to go. Get in touch with the great team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, a team that I have trusted for vehicle maintenance for years. Schedule an oil change, get your tires rotated, get your car detailed so it's as clean as it can be both inside and out. Swap out those old windshield wipers. Stop in today and have the great service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie make sure your vehicle is in the best shape it can be to help avoid any potential issues during your holiday travel. Start by logging on to ZimbrickChevrolet.com to see all they have to offer, including browsing their entire new and used vehicle inventory. That's ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Happy holidays from Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Every day, Wisconsin's 600,000 family caregivers help their loved ones to continue living safely in their own homes. It's not easy. Each year, they spend an average of $7,000 out of their own pockets to provide this care. Wisconsin needs family caregivers, and they need more support. Tell your state lawmakers, Wisconsin family caregivers need a caregiver tax credit in 2025. Learn more at aarp.org/WI. That's aarp.org/WI. Paid for by AARP Wisconsin.
Get your hydration on track with Water Joe. Water Joe has 0 calories, 0 sugars, 0 artificial sweeteners, and 0 carbs. Get a 700 milliliter bottle of Water Joe at your local Festival Foods for 99 cents now until December 8th. Just purified water infused with a kick of caffeine. It's a great alternative to sugary sodas, sugary coffee, or energy drinks. Get that 700 milliliter bottle of Water Joe for only 99 cents through December 8th at your local Festival Foods location.
Your warehouse concrete floors see a lot of traffic. Uneven, sinking, or cracked concrete can pose a serious threat to any business operation. From trip hazards to cracked foundations, sinking concrete can keep any business owner up at night. Concrete Lifting Technologies is here to help. Concrete Lifting Technologies can even out that concrete floor to prevent these hazards. They can level your warehouse floor within a few hours and don't even need to shut down your operations. Visit itaintmudjack.com to get a free quote today. That's itaintmudjack.com.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
On December 7th, immerse yourself in Ebony and Elegance, an icy affair, the 3rd annual gala by the Urban League of Greater Madison Young Professionals. It's a night to celebrate the achievements and recognize Greater Madison area young professionals making an impact in our community. Join us as we honor those who lead through civic engagement, community service, and professional excellence, embodying our values: invest, impact, inspire. Don't miss this unforgettable evening. Reserve your tickets today at ulgmyp.betterworld.org.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
'Cause I'm a hazard to myself. Don't let me get beat. I'm my own worst enemy. It's bad when you know yourself.
So I feel, Jesse, like I have to preemptively apologize. Only because, and by the way, put yourself on camera for the rest of the show.
Well, it takes a minute.
Well, no one needs to see all me on the video.
The old T really puts us in a little pickle here.
He puts us in a bind, no doubt about it. I mean, people can check out all the great bobbleheads I've got back here. You know, we've got Don Sutton, the Michelin Man, Bart Starr, Pat McCurdy, Tony Gwynn, et cetera, et cetera. There you are. Thank you. Otherwise, it's lonely out here. No one wants that big of a screen of me. But I do feel like I have to apologize because the folks that have waited on hold, I'm guessing, they waited in part to talk to Old T. And Old T is donezo for the day and for the week.
Don't sell yourself short. People like talking to you too.
But they do. But if you only could talk to one of us, you're picking
Pull it.
Pablo Iglesias. All right, let's go. Let's go to Chris in Dayton first. Chris, thanks for holding on so long, buddy. Welcome, Wilde and Tausch, or Wilde and Nelson, as it were. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Jason. You're more than enough. Don't be so hard on yourself.
But would you have preferred this call have included Tausch? Yes or no?
I would have preferred it, but I didn't appreciate how. Yeah, I didn't appreciate how gold-colored his glasses were after the game last night.
All right, let's talk about that. Frustrated. All right, let's talk about that. Why?
Okay, so first, with that, it was this was the time to beat them. We're not as good as Detroit. That's it.
Agree with both those statements.
I'm going into the rest of the season just saying what happens, happens. We've proven we're not as good as Philadelphia. We're not as good as Detroit. So whatever happens is the rest of this season I'm good with because we're not winning.
Okay. You've made your peace.
Yes. Now, I have a theory on why we're starting slow.
Ooh.
And I think LaFleur really with his first 15, or I know each coach does it a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think LaFleur sets up his first 15 to really identify how they're covering certain formations. And then he wants to use that information the rest of the game.
So fact-finding more than attacking. I'm intrigued by this.
Exactly. Yeah, because we're not running early in the game, and I'm thinking his idea is that's going to be there in a second. I want to see what they're doing so then we can attack that throughout the game. And I think he needs to either put more run game into different formations so he can get that idea with the run game, or just change his idea on the first 15 because it's killing us.
Yeah. I think that is one of the most astute points we've had today. Because I do think you're right. I think there is, and look, he's not the only one, right? I mean, McVay is doing it. Kyle Shanahan's doing it. They're all doing it. They all are trying to garner and gather information to be used later. Oh, this is how they played this. That's why they've got the Surface tablets. That's why they've got the guys up in the booth upstairs looking down and seeing how things play out. I guess my question would be, and thanks for the call and thanks for holding on so long. And I appreciate being enough. But my question would be, how do you balance that? Because you want to do both. You want to attack. And look, he tried to attack. He wanted to go up top right away. And Zadarius Smith foiled that plan by sacking Jordan Love for a 7-yard loss, which, by the way, was the only sack they gave up. And now he's only up to 11 sacks on the season. I thought the offensive line looked overwhelmed in the first 3 series. And they figured it out eventually, but I thought that was their downfall, was that they couldn't get things going offensively in large part because Love was under siege early in the game.
I have a question about what was just said here. So if the Packers do that, yeah, if that's their approach to the first quarter, how come up until last night they were like winning? They had the best first quarter point differential in football. They showed that stat last week on Thanksgiving night on NBC when they went up big on the Dolphins early. That like the first quarter is really the tone setter for the Packers all season long. They've never gone up in the first quarter and lost a game. Usually in their losses to the Eagles or the Lions or whomever it's been to, they've been down early and had to try and fight their way back. So what's the difference, and how can you be the team that has one of the best point differentials in the first quarter and use it as a feeling out period?
Yeah, look, it's a theory, right? I don't know that for sure, but the question I would have is he feeling things out to the detriment of being productive? I think we just illustrated it, right? That ain't feeling things out when you want to call a shot play on the first snap. So there's a balancing act there. Look, they have not been a bad first quarter team, as you just said. The other issue, though, is if you can't execute, it doesn't matter how good your plan is. And they certainly... Well, busy day here for the dogs. Mail must be here. They certainly did not execute well early in the game, and that hurt them. Let's keep going with the calls. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Sean in Germantown. Sean, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you?
Good morning, Jason. You are good enough. I'm fine without talking.
And gosh darn it, people like me. Yeah, me and Stuart Smalley. What do you got?
Just going off of the previous caller, I agree with Jesse. Usually the way things go with the Packers is they start out really hot. Their scripted plays are great, and then they kind of falter and slow down the rest of the game. So I don't know how much of that we can take from last night's game. It did seem like he just wanted to throw the ball a lot, and with how much pressure the Lions were bringing, it just didn't work out in the first 20 minutes of the game. But they turned it around.
That was my, and Sean, I don't want to interrupt you. You can finish in a second. But no, that's exactly what I wondered. If you're getting your lunch eaten by the pass rush and you know that they're down defensive linemen, give the ball to 8. And it was almost like he remembered it after that. He's like, oh, yeah, we got this 8 guy, and he's really good. And then things looked better after that.
Yeah. Going to positives, I'm going to sound like Tausch a little bit. I think the fact that so much went wrong last night, and we still only lost by 3 at the buzzer at the home of the best team in football, I think you can take a lot from that, as bad as it feels, we're still right there. Somebody commented, yeah, we're 0-4 against playoff teams. No, really, we're 1-4. We beat the Texans, but we've lost games to 3 teams that have a combined record of like 35-5. So it's not like we're losing to. I mean, we'll see it next week. It's not like we're losing to the Seattles and the mediocre playoff teams that are out there. We're losing to top tier teams. My negative, and you guys touched on it just a little bit. I can go off on the refs. I'll skip that. The negative, Al Michaels is awful, and he's been awful for years, and I'm glad people are finally starting to notice it.
Aww.
I first noticed it. If you go back to 2011, Randall Cobb, opening night of the NFL season, it's Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, a rookie wide receiver, takes a kickoff out of the end zone 8 yards deep, does a barrel roll. John Kuhn holds him up. By the time he's at the 50, it's going to be a touchdown. And Al Michaels is talking like it's, oh, hum, this is just another return happening.
Yeah.
And finally, Chris Collinsworth lets out like some exuberance once he crosses the goal line. And then Al Michaels is like, oh, yeah, I guess something pretty crazy just happened. And he's just gotten worse through the years. And I'm glad somebody pointed out earlier. But, yeah,
14 years ago.
The whole broadcast last night. Yeah, the whole broadcast last night, everyone on Twitter is like, this is a great game, this is a great game. Well, someone should have told Alan Kirk that it's a great game because they were asleep at the wheel. It's not Kirk. He can't be over. He does great on Saturday nights. He can't be over-exuberant when Al Michaels is asleep at the wheel for most of the game. So, I feel like he has to kind of match Al Michaels, and it's a tough fit for him. But, man, it's why I don't watch Thursday night games is because Al Michaels is the one doing the games. And I've been on this horse for years, but it's tough.
Missed some good games this year. Thursday night's been the place to be.
I'm glad you got that off your chest, Sean.
Like I said, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. But, yes, I've been holding on to it for years. But, yeah, go back and listen to that kickoff return by Randall Cobb. You'll realize 13 years ago, he was on the downside of his career.
You're not? All right, so I will say this, and I am a big believer in institutions and legends, right? And the idea of them being able to go out on their terms, whether it's Bob Uecker, right? I understand his fastball isn't the same as it once was. I heard a lot of this about Bob Costas, right? And I think
that's different.
That was very fair
He's
criticism.
giving sermons in the 4th inning when it's bases loaded, full count, 2 out.
Obviously, Al Michaels. I mean, one of the first sporting events I remember watching. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. I was like 7 years old. It was a really big deal. So I am biased, but you're right. It was a great game, and for all those Thursday night games that suck, and you can understand why he's low energy and not really excited. There was no excuse for that last night. And as someone who covered the game from his home instead of being in Detroit where I wouldn't have heard him, right, because I'd been watching in person, yeah, I agree with him. And it pains me to say that because I love Al Michaels. But if you're going to keep doing this, and look, I want to keep doing this, I want to be like Homer. I mean, I'll be down to like a 15-minute show if I follow his career arc.
Tausch was calling Homer Al Michaels last night because he was yawning a lot on Green Bay game night as we got to the stroke of midnight.
But he's 70 now, right? I'd like to still keep doing this. This is not heavy labor, right? But I think the key here, and this is one thing you can't say about Homer, he still brings energy, right?
No
and so
doubt.
if you're going to keep doing it, at an advanced age, you have to find a way to find the energy and find the passion and the joy of doing it. So I as much as I want to defend a guy who was one of the soundtracks of my youth, it's a fair criticism from what I listened to last night. It just is.
He's always done the thing where he goes lower with his voice in the big moments. So I hope we're not just construing that 14 years ago with the Randall Cobb kick return. Like, I think that's just always been his technique outside of, do you believe in miracles? Like, that obviously went nuts. But he's always gone, like, and he's in.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but it's still. I think if you go back, I'll give you my NFL Plus password. I think if you go back and listen to the game, watch the game and listen to him, I think you'll hear Sean's criticism be fair. All
yeah,
right.
well, yeah. Amazon Prime went out on us in the studio with 5 minutes left on the game last night.
It's a setback for you. All right,
Yeah.
I want to get some more calls. We're going to skip Woe Nelly. We got Phil in Cedarburg, Josh in Oak Creek, and Mo in Illinois, so stay there. We will get to you coming up. Jesse, I am curious. You sent that message, so you didn't – what did you do? Like you missed the end of the game?
A frustrating night last night. So first we're delayed 45 minutes for the start of the Badger volleyball game until 7:45. So we missed the entire first quarter there. By the time volleyball gets done, we're practically to the end of the game. And then Prime goes out on Hunter Vaughn's producing volleyball. We're trying to watch the game together on the big screen here in the studio. Prime goes out on us. So we got to, Hunter was able to pull it up on his phone here. And I'm, watching from behind his shoulder as he's finishing up.
Phone.
So we were literally baby phoning it up last night here in the producer's room for the final minute and a half of the game after we struggled for 10 minutes, and we're getting messages in German and Spanish in Prime. You have an error. And we're like, well, no blank. Like, of course there's an error. You're telling me in a different language here that we've got an error with Prime. Yeah, I can tell the game's not on. Thanks. And then it won't even let you. It says you should restart your device. It won't even let you get out of the device. It's like it just paused. Nothing was happening.
You may have legal redress, and if you're going to take them to court over your disappointment, you know who to call. One call, that's all. Gruber Law Offices, 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. Go to the website, gruber-law.com. Find out more about the firm, about their great history, all the great lawyers that are there, and everything David and his family and his firm do in our communities, all the teams they're associated with. They are a part of the fabric of not just Milwaukee now, but the entire Midwest and all of Wisconsin. 414-276-6666, Gruber Law Offices. One call. That's all. More of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson to tell you about Madison Weight Loss, the program that I experienced from the middle of August to the middle of October, a 60-day program in which I was able to drop 40 pounds of unwanted, unnecessary fat, and all I had to do is change my diet. I didn't have to do any intense workouts, didn't have to do any injections or anything crazy. All it was changing what I eat every single day. And how sustainable is that? Well, once the 60 days is done, you're going to gain it all back. No, that's not the case. I'm wearing this Brewers shirt today, and that's a shirt that I didn't fit into when I started this program. I still fit into it now. Feels great wearing this. Feels great to have a shorter pant size. It's all thanks to Madison Weight Loss, and you can check it out. Schedule a free consultation, in person or virtual, MadisonWeightLoss.com. Take advantage right now. Lowest offer of the year. You can save almost 20% if you sign up now through December 31st with Madison Weight Loss. Check it all out. You don't have to start the program till after the holidays, but you do need to sign up before December 31st. Check out what it's all about right now. Lowest prices of the year. MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Starion Bank redefines local banking in Madison. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, experience a banking relationship where your goals are our priority. Enjoy competitive deposit and loan rates and a partnership that thrives on local engagement and support. Starion Bank is more than a full-service financial institution. It's a community pillar dedicated to your prosperity. Visit one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, offering banking, lending, mortgage, and cash management.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
When you're having computer problems, you need a company you trust to get things working again, quickly and affordably. Madison Computer Works has been doing that for business and residential customers for decades. Our computer care plans take away the hassle of being without your computer or needing to bring it in for repair. Starting at only $10 a month, our local and friendly techs provide remote help and can fix most problems in just minutes. Call 608-231-8000 and sign up today. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
Ho, ho, my back.
Santa?
Ho, ho, Gina Dello from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Santa's doing OT.
Let me make a call.
Frighteningly fast Pella team at your service. Let us take it from here, Mr. Claus. And Gina, next time.
I know. Ask for a Pella gift card. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month.
PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 12/31/2024.
Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's makes the good stuff for good times. Find recipes, videos, and more at titosvodka.com.
Let's get to your final calls. Thanks to everyone who was so patient today. Let's start with Phil in Cedarburg. Phil, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you?
Or you could just say, welcome to Wilde, huh?
Old habits die hard. Welcome to Wilde and Nelson and Phil in Cedarburg.
Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, I wasn't that disappointed with the game. I think when you play Detroit, I feels like they kind of push the envelope on cheating / whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
so it feels like they're borderline, aren't they? Are they?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like
I agree with you.
They're right there on that line. So if you're going to play them, I think part of playing them is working the refs like crazy the whole game. Ooh. I mean, I hate playing that way, but you got. I think before the game, you got to prep the refs. During the game, you got to. I mean, because their receivers push off. I think they do a lot of things that they just know how to play the rules where they're just right on the edge on every play. So I don't know. I'm not disappointed. I think we got them if we get them in the playoffs. I think, there's just a couple things they got to work on, like that damn screen. They couldn't stop the screen. It was nauseating.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of my analysis in the game. I'm not bummed at all. And I was listening to a while here, and you guys talking about Goody and his defensive picks. Just my thoughts on that. Do they ever do this, Wilde, with or Jason, I should call you, with GMs where they just take certain things away from you? Like, can they just take away Goody's responsibility to draft defensive people? Can they do that?
I suppose they could. I don't think they will, but look, it's fair criticism, I think. And look, I know I've got the reputation on this show for being a hater of him. I am not. I try to say that all the time. Now, Mark Murphy, who, will go out of his way to avoid me, maybe I feel a little more strongly about him.
We got to
but
get
not
the Chippewa Falls.
But look, the track record's not great. And you can argue that maybe Jair and maybe Rashawn Gary were on really good trajectories, and then they suffered injuries and they were never the same player again. But lots of guys come back from ACLs. And Rashawn Gary got a sack last night. It was a coverage sack, but it still counts. but he has not been good enough for $98 million or 96.
Could I say this? There's enough evidence that's being stacked on top of more evidence that Goody is not good at drafting defensive players high in the draft.
Yeah,
he's just not.
That's 100% fair. Thanks for the call, Phil. I would say this: I'm glad Phil called because I walked out of the game or walked out of my spare bedroom where I was watching it and writing, thinking that you should feel good as a Packers fan. That yes, the Lions are better. But any given Sunday in the playoffs, I think these guys can beat them. Now, I don't feel as confident about them beating the Lions the way I felt confident that if the Packers of 2010 faced the Atlanta Falcons again, that they would beat them. They were sure, and I was sure that if there was a rematch in the playoffs, that was what would happen, and it did in the divisional round, and Rodgers lit them up. All right, let's get to two last calls before Feel Good Friday. Now I got my good buddy JB texting me because he's a retired referee. He doesn't like the word refs angle.
Oh, boy. As the former umpire chairman of the Muskego Athletic Association, I can also tell you the officials are certainly above that in their training.
That was not a great night last night. I still don't understand why Monday night's officials were working another game on Thursday. Let's go to Josh in Oak Creek. Josh, good morning. Thanks for holding on so long. What do you got, buddy?
Good morning, Jason and Jesse. You guys are great in your own way.
Is that a compliment?
I think so.
You guys are both great in your own way.
Cool.
So, as I'm a Bears fan, so I'm indifferent, but the Packers should feel good that they were down but not out. They fought until the bitter end. Didn't go their way at the end, but that's something you want to see from a playoff team is just the fact that they were willing to fight for 60 minutes. The negative is going to go against Matt LaFleur. The play calling to start the game, taking a shot right away, not smart. You want to control the game, what's the best way to do it? Run the ball. You said it earlier. You got number 8, use them, especially with how good your offensive line is. And one quick side note, are we really discounting Washington not making a move to jump either Green Bay or Minnesota in the playoffs?
That's fair. I'm guilty of that. You are 100% right. Josh,
no respect.
All right. Now we've had back-to-back calls that have brought up things that we probably failed to get to. That's one of Washington's 8-5. Okay? So they are not by any means like so far down that they can't get there. And if they do, and again, who knows what's going to happen with Minnesota? The Packers play them in a couple weeks. But no, you're right. We are probably being as dismissive of them overtaking the Packers as we're being of as Tausch is being of the Vikings overall. All right, let's take one more call before Feel Good Friday.
I got one more for you too. Dallas is 5-7, and I know everyone's written off Dallas because they're banged up and all that stuff. Look at Dallas the rest of the way. Cincinnati on Monday. If Dallas wins on Monday night in the Simpsons game on ESPN Plus, watch out for Dallas.
The Simpsons game. That's what that is?
Yeah, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus. They're doing the Simpsons alternate broadcast on Monday night. Gonna be fun. I'm gonna tune into it for sure. There's no way they're gonna do it poorly.
I will admit I enjoy the Slime Time Nickelodeon broadcast, so maybe this will be good. All right, let's close up shop with Mo in Illinois. Mo, thanks for holding on. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm okay. I just want to address the previous caller. I know he's a Bears fan. Newsflash, my friend. The Packers, we have a standard of winning and excellent in titles. We're not here to just be in the game and compete against the Lions. We're here to win. And that didn't happen yesterday. So I know a lot of people have been saying, it's a good thing, the Packers hung in the game with the Lions. That doesn't matter.
Well, Mo, wait a minute. Wait. So, and I think what you said is fair. I don't have a problem with it. My question for you is, because you are an astute and sometimes tough on your favorite team observer. Do you feel better, worse, or the same about the Packers' chances of beating them in the playoffs based on what you saw yesterday? Because I would argue that you should feel marginally better, certainly not worse, but I can't see feeling worse about it. I think they're better than the Packers are, but I don't think that there's a wide chasm preventing the Packers from traversing it.
No, Tausch, I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel much better, and that's because this team. How many starters were they without on defense? And
lots.
The game, the offensive line looked like they all needed to go do diarrhea or something. Like their heads weren't in the game. They didn't match the Detroit defensive line physicality. It was very blasphemous. And you got to start the game and set the tone, and they didn't do that. Offensively, I'm not worried about this team, Jason. I want to make that very clear.
Okay.
I'm not worried about the team offensively. I'm not worried about Jordan Love. What I'm worried about is our defense, because what can go wrong with this defense will always go wrong. We've been seeing it for the past how many years? It doesn't matter who's that D coordinator. It doesn't matter who's in the secondary. They're going to get shredded. When they need to stop most, they don't get to stop. Is there anyone in their right mind yesterday when the Packers failed to score a touchdown and they tied it up at 31 apiece with the field goal? Did any of us think that the Packers defense were going to get a stop? You'd be crazy.
I did not.
Yes.
No, I did not.
I'm on my boys. Let's go. Let's go. Don't even watch. It's wraps. This team can't defend anybody. The defensive line has gotten a little more physical, but I'm holding my breath because this team is not championship caliber, and they got a lot of work to do if they want to get to that level.
Yeah, Mo, great call. First of all, I don't believe they're a championship team. I've pushed back on Tausch for weeks for that. I don't believe that. I think they're a year away. But I also think that the point he made, forget about the defense for a second because we want to get to Feel Good Friday. But the one point that I want to emphasize, I don't want to be a revisionist and say, oh, it's bad to take a shot on the first play when a year earlier you did the same damn thing and it worked, right? I don't want to play the results. Here's how it's different, because Mo mentioned it. They are beat to hell on the defensive line. I am coming out, if I'm the play caller, which Lord knows they'd be in real big trouble if I was, I'm coming out and setting the tone by running Josh Jacobs at them from the jump, right? Because it's a different game than it was last year. You were trying to steal a game against the team. You were 3-6 at the time, or whatever they were, 4-6. Like, it was a different team, and it was a different situation. You could hang with these guys. You knew what their shortcomings were. I'm running Josh Jacobs, and they didn't do that.
I mean, one of the summaries, I think, of what many of our callers have said, if the Lions are working the refs and they beat you up and they take some cheap shots and everything that's been said about them, basically you're approaching it like the Lions are bullies. And the way to beat a bully is to punch him right in the nose.
Right.
And instead of doing that by running the football effectively and setting the tone, out physicaling them, you try and do something gimmicky and go over the top. And I understand that critique, for sure.
All right. We need to get to Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. Want to remind you, as I tell you all the time, and everybody over there has been so good to us, but that's not just us, it's everybody at Associated Bank. Best customer service in the industry. They have the awards to prove it. They don't treat us any different than they treat everyone else. They just treat everyone great. That's what their awards tell you. That's what their ethos tells you. That's what their approach to banking tells you. And if you're a Packers fan, it's even better for you because then you get Packers checking, you get your discounted Packers Pro Shop, everything you could possibly ask for. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints, is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Mark Tausch here, reminding you that every Friday on Wilde and Tausch is a Feel Good Friday painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. So you'll be feeling good if you do what my family did when we moved into our new home, and that's trusting the pro painters from Hallman Lindsay for your biggest project. Hallman Lindsay's pros were incredible. They did the job so much better than we could, and they made the whole process super easy. All you have to do to get connected, stop into any of Hallman Lindsay's Madison area locations, ask, and they'll help get you set up with the pro painters that are perfect for what you need. And remember, Wisconsin's best painters use Wisconsin's best paint. And Wisconsin's best painters are the pro painters at Hallman Lindsay Paints. I hope you enjoy every Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994. Find the Great Dane nearest you and check out the menu at greatdanepub.com. Staying true to the roots. Lamar Campbell joining the jump around with Jim Rutledge, the former Badger touching on recruiting the next wave of Badgers. Soup's thoughts on how to do that while upholding Wisconsin's values.
We can be progressive. we can recruit, we can do things differently, but a tradition of tough, smart, dependable, great defense, great offensive linemen, running back, serviceable quarterback. We've been able to find stars at the skill positions by focusing on, basically who we are. And I know we kick off, August 30th, 2025, but in my mind, and a lot of the alumni mind, kickoff starts now.
If you're not getting windows from Santa, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month. PellaWI.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Grassland Dairy is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin and sustained by innovation. Since 1904, the Wheatrick family has worked with hundreds of dairy farmers to consistently produce the highest quality dairy products. Grassland's commitment to quality starts with the way their dairy farmers care for their cows and carries through every step of their innovative processing and delivery. They are proud to offer a wide range of reliable and nutritious dairy ingredients. Grassland Dairy is family owned in Wisconsin and has been crafting butter for 5 generations.
You're probably being overwhelmed with information about semaglutide, the game-changing FDA-approved weight loss treatment. Jim Rutledge here. I was like you. I didn't know what it was until I saw Dr. Nessa Rodriguez at Carbon World Health. He can walk you through the benefits. He can tell you if it's right for you, and then you could come up with a plan to change your life with a workout plan and semaglutide. With that plan, I dropped from 20% body fat to 10% body fat, and I dropped over 20 pounds of fat and kept my muscle. You can do the same thing. Go see Dr. Nessa Rodriguez at Carbon World Health.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Celebrate Wisconsin hospitality at a Buck & Honey's location near you. You can give your friends or loved ones a memorable experience with a Buck & Honey's gift card. Or treat yourself. For every $100 in gift cards purchased, you'll get $20 back to use at Buck & Honey's in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, or the new location in Mount Horeb. Oh, don't forget to make yourself reservations for the holidays. Offer availability between November 15th and December 31st. Locally owned and operated. We'll see you at Buck & Honey's.
You gotta get down on Friday. It's time to finish the week off right. It's Feel Good Friday on Wilde and Tausch, painted by Hallman Lindsay.
Born and raised under the rain and a western wind, felt the way.
Time for Feel Good Friday, painted by Hallman Lindsay Paints. I am a big fan of the NFL doing the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. What I love even more is that every team nominates someone, and 2 friends of show are nominees. Kenny Clark for the Packers, who obviously has been on our show many times, and then the pride of Bayport High School, state champions, Howard Swamico, the University of Wisconsin, and now the Miami Dolphins. Alec Ingold is the Dolphins nominee. And if you did not see, and we already knew the story because he's been on our show a bunch, but the story about him and adoption and everything that they told his life story and what he does for kids during the Thursday night Thanksgiving game, I hope you get to watch that because it is compelling. And yes, I got a little teary-eyed. So congrats to Alec. Congrats to Kenny. They are our Feel Good Fridays, but more importantly, the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees from their team. That's it for us today. Jesse, great job. Really. Thanks for staying for the whole show.
You too, Jason.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Full day's work.
We'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch? Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of